I'm James Spann back in the Weather Center. We are now on the air since we have a tornado warning in effect for parts of northwest Alabama. This was just issued by the National Weather Service in Birmingham. This is a tornado warning. This is in effect for parts of northern Lamar, parts of southern Marion, and northern Fayette counties. This is the Polygon, and you can see that within the Polygon we have Winfield and Guin. This is the possible tornado that's located here, not too far from Sulligent. This is in northern Lamar County. And again, this possible tornado is moving up in the direction of Guin, Winfield, Guin, and Brilliant. All of these cities are in the Polygon. The city of Fayette is not in the tornado warning Polygon. The city of Hamilton is not in the warning Polygon. This is in between those two larger cities in West Alabama. So again, the Polygon includes northern Lamar, and not really all of northern Lamar, just this fragment here. This does include Sulligent, although the greatest chance of a tornado is now just to the east of the city of Sulligent, and that will be crossing over into southern Marion or northern Fayette counties. And again, we've got Guin here, Winfield here, Guin, which is right here. And if you're in those cities, same drill like we had the week after Christmas. You're going to need to go to a safe place. That would be a small room on the lowest floor near the center, away from windows, in no mobile homes. This is not a time to be in a trailer home. If you live in a mobile home, you've got to go to a community shelter, a business, a gas station, a restaurant, so any place like that. And again, we're going to ask you today for help. If you know anybody that lives in this Polygon, please call them or text them and let them know that they are in danger of a tornado. And again, this would include Brilliant, Winfield, Guin, Beaverton here in Lamar County. These communities right in through here. So that is a tornado warning, and you can see the approximate arrival times. We have Guin at 3:36, Winfield at about 3:40. It's currently 3:26 right now. So, for example, in Winfield, you got about 15 minutes on this, and don't wait until the last minute. And whatever you do, do not go look for it, in that this is rain wrapped. You're not going to be able to see anything today. And again, it's a classic Alabama tornado situation. Most tornadoes here are rain wrapped, and most of them you cannot see. So once again, a possible tornado near Beaverton along Highway 278 in Lamar County, moving northeast up toward US 278 here. This is Interstate 22, and in terms of travel, obviously, we're advising people not to be traveling along Interstate 22 between the Walker County line and Hamilton over the next 15 minutes, or next really 30 minutes until this rotation passes. So this is a tornado warning, again, for southern Marion, extreme northern Fayette. This does not include Fayette. In fact, Hubbardville is right here. You're not in this Polygon. This is a very small part of northern Fayette County and a small part of northern Lamar County. And again, this is the potential tornadic activity right here, not too far from Beaverton. And again, that's US Highway 278 going back up toward Guin. Most likely the rotation will stay just south of US Highway 278 that will be crossing about halfway between Guin and Winfield, maybe near Guin. But understand, you see Taylor's arrow here. We want everybody in that red Polygon to be sheltered. Everybody. And remember, in your safe place, you're going to be wearing a helmet, a bicycle helmet, a batting helmet if your kids play sports, a motorcycle helmet. And this is for everybody. This is for adults and for kids. Most people that are injured in tornadoes, it is blunt force trauma to the head, neck, or skull region. So this is our first tornado warning of the day. And this is in a large rain mass over the northwestern part of Alabama. There's hardly any lightning here, 3 lightning strikes in the past 10 minutes or so, but still, this is the area to watch right here. Now, I want to show the other tornadic circulation that is in Noxubee County, Mississippi, that is approaching Pickens County, Taylor. This is the one farther to the south, and I just wanted to show that. And again, we do have a tornado warning in effect here for parts of Noxubee County, Mississippi. And if that circulation holds together, a warning could be required for parts of Pickens County. Just wanted to give you a heads up on this. Again, you've got Aliceville, which is right here. The potential circulation is located right here. And again, Carrollton here, Reform here, Gordo here. Just wanted to let you know, and again, this is a time where if you're in a mobile home, you might consider getting out of them and getting into a community shelter or some type of site-built structure, some type of business that's open, a gas station, restaurant, anything like that. There's no warning yet for Pickens County in West Alabama, but one could be required soon. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that. So let's go back to our northern storm. And again, this is the thunderstorm to the north that has prompted this tornado warning, and this is the reason we're on the air. And this is a warning for northern Lamar, for southern Marion, and extreme northern Fayette counties. This is US 43 right here. This is coming north out of Fayette. Hubbardville is down here. Hubbardville is not in the Polygon. Winfield is, Guin is, Yampertown, Twin, Brilliant, Interstate 22 right here. All of these locations in this tornado warning polygon. And remember, this is a rain-wrapped tornado. This is not a situation where we can show you these beautiful images of this, cone-shaped funnel. That's not going to happen today, and that rarely ever happens here, but it's clearly there. Now, we've got a crew that is in Hamilton. We've got Bill Castle and Stephen Quinn, and they're going to be coming into this from the north, and if we have any damage, we'll be hearing from them soon. We've got Evan Chickvara, our meteorologist, out in the field as well. So a lot of cameras out in the field today, but again, in this case, you're not going to be able to see much. So we have a potential tornado just south of Beaverton, just south of Highway 278 in northern Lamar County that is gradually moving, I say gradually, moving at a pretty good clip to the northeast. And that most likely will be crossing somewhere between Guin and Winfield, but everybody in both communities, Guin, Winfield, you should be sheltered. I was up in Winfield day before yesterday at Winfield Elementary School. They respect the Polygon. They totally understand that, and people that live here in Marion County, they have had a long history of tornadoes in that general area. So we have a new tornado warning in effect. This is going to be for Pickens County. This is for our storm farther to the south. We gave you a heads up on that earlier. In a moment, you'll see it painted here on the graphic system. This is the northern storm. This is the one that's coming up toward Guin and Winfield. The southern storm, you'll see a new tornado warning for parts of Pickens County in effect until 4:15 this afternoon. We have a possible tornado 9 miles southwest of Pickensville near the Alabama-Mississippi state line, moving northeast at 65 miles an hour. These are flying today. The winds aloft are very strong, and this is your new tornado warning polygon for Pickens County. And understand we're going to bounce back and forth between Marion, Fayette, Lamar, and this one. We have two distinct tornadoes we're working here today. We'll give equal time to both. But again, I want to show who's in this polygon. You can see this does include Gordo and Reform. This is US 82. These are the approximate arrival times of the storm in some of the communities in the path of this. We have Pickensville at 3:39. It's currently 3:31. You've got 8 minutes. We've got Saps, which is near Aliceville, at 3:43. Carrollton, which is the county seat of Pickens County, at 3:48. But again, this is your polygon right here. This does not include downtown Aliceville. It includes just north of there. You might have an Aliceville mailing address and you're in this polygon. But this does include Pickensville. It includes Carrollton. It includes Gordo. It includes Reform. It includes the community of Saps. So if you're in any of these communities we've called out here, same drill for you. You need to be in a safe place. We do have our Sky Cam at Reform. We're not going to show that quite yet because, again, you're just going to see a lot of rain and gray sky here. But as it gets closer, we'll take a close look at that. So this is our southernmost tornado warning. Let's go back to our northernmost tornado warning. This is the one that will be affecting Guin and Winfield. This is a possible tornado that is now southeast of Beaverton in the northeastern corner of Lamar County, which is located right here. And again, that's going to be coming right out in this direction. Most likely, this will be passing a little to the west of Winfield, but it doesn't matter in terms of what you do. All that matters is that flashing red polygon. You respect the polygon and you go into a safe place. And of course, in a site-built home, that's a small room, a hall, closet, bathroom, lowest floor, near the center, no windows, and everybody has a helmet on. And if you do that, you're going to survive just about every tornado that comes along. You don't have to be underground, but you have to do that. And no cars and no mobile homes. If you're driving and hearing us on the radio, you need to stop, pull over, and get into some type of gas station, restaurant, any place that offers shelter. A car is the worst place to be. A mobile home is one of the worst places you could be in this situation. Again, the town of Brilliant is here. This is Winfield. This is Guin. And again, that possible tornado will be crossing near the town of Guin and pretty close to Guin. And again, I always drift back to April 3rd, 1974, an eternity ago, but that was the super outbreak. I was in high school, and many people remember what happened to Guin that night. That was a horrible EF5 or an F5 back then. And in my years of being here, I think that's the most violent tornado we've had in the last 50 years. And this will not be like that. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's a similar track. And again, my mind always drifts back to that particular day. This most likely is a smaller tornado, but listen, small tornadoes are dangerous. Ask anybody that's been directly in an EF0 or an EF1. They're all dangerous. So you need to be sheltered. Again, Brilliant, Winfield, Twin, Yampertown, Guin. If you're in Lamar County, we can say the danger is over now. If you're in Beaverton, back over toward Sulligent, the danger is now well to the east of you. So the concern now is exclusively southern Marion and northern Fayette counties. And again, we stress, if you're in Hamilton or Fayette, this is not even close to you. You might have some older legacy systems where you're hearing a warning, but you are not in the Polygon. In Hamilton or Fayette, again, the main concern here, Ewan, Winfield, Brilliant, those are the three larger communities in the path of this. And again, it's moving at a pretty good clip. This particular storm is moving to the northeast at 50 miles an hour. And again, you're seeing some approximate arrival times on your screen. And don't wait until the last minute. And again, I know it's human nature. What you want to do when you hear this, you want to go look out the window or go out in the front yard and look for it. You want to seek confirmation. That is just human. We understand that from social scientists, but please fight that off. You won't see anything. This is all wrapped in rain, and that is a waste of time, and it's putting yourself in a dangerous position if you do that. Best thing to do is just to be sheltered right now. So again, tornado warning in effect for southern Marion and northern Fayette counties in West Alabama. And again, if we hear from our Hamilton crew, if they're headed down that way, if anybody in the back, you guys let me know. I'd love to hear from them. We'll go down to the south. This is our warning in Pickens County. We have a possible tornado that is on the Alabama-Mississippi state line that is crossing over into Pickens County. This is the Tombigbee River right here. This is Pickensville. And again, that will be moving to the northeast. Aliceville is here. This is the community of Saps, which is north of Aliceville. But again, Beavertown, Saps, this is Carrollton. This is the county seat. The face in the window in the courthouse. You know that story there. And this is US 82 up here. This is the 82 corridor. So the Polygon does include Gordo and Reform. And again, it joins up here to Fayette County. So this is a potential tornado that is crossing out of Noxubee County, Mississippi, into Pickens County, Alabama, with the tornado moving very rapidly. In fact, the National Weather Service has the motion here in northeast at 65 miles per hour. A very fast-moving tornado. You don't have a lot of time here. So, again, we'll put some of the arrival times of smaller communities on your screen, and you can see them here. Carrollton, for example, at 3:49. McShann, which is over here near Reform, that's at 3:52. And again, this obviously will not affect everybody in the Polygon. That's not the way these work. The Polygons fan out to allow for room for error in the track. But if you're in these Polygons, you've got to be in a safe place. This is the debris tracker correlation coefficient. No evidence of debris being lofted at this point. But again, the pretty good tornado signature here on the velocity display that's sitting basically at the Tombigbee River, just to the south of Pickensville, right on the Tombigbee. And again, that will be crossing Highway 14. Highway 14 is a fairly major road in parts of southern Pickens County. This is the road that runs from Utah to Aliceville, then back up toward Columbus, Mississippi. That's Highway 14. Nobody should be traveling along Highway 14 at this point. And again, that's going to be crossing Highway 14, probably just below Pickensville, and then moving up toward Carrollton and the US 82 corridor, which includes Gordo and Reform. So that's our southern storm. Let's go back to our northern storm. We're working two distinct tornadic circulations here. So again, bear with us if you're in Pickens County, Marion, Fayette. We're working them both, giving them equal time. So this is the second possible tornado. And again, this is up here, and it's getting a little, it's noisy. I'll put it that way. This is not really a classic tornado signature here, but still, if you're in this Polygon, you need to stay sheltered. We've got Winfield here. This is Ewan, and this is Brilliant. And this is Interstate 22 right here. Yampertown, Twin, Ewan, and Winfield. Everybody, we've been calling this out for a while. And again, we encourage everybody that's in the Polygon to stay sheltered. Taylor, I've not seen any damage reports so far. Have you?
No, not yet. So I've been monitoring the chat. I haven't seen anything in terms of damage with this. As you mentioned, this northern warning, it's getting kind of messy. The rotation doesn't look as tight, but we want you to take it seriously. Treat this, of course, as there is a tornado. With a tornado warning Polygon, you need to be in that safe place. So we'll keep watching this as we continue to get those new radar scans in. But as of right now, we are looking at a little bit broader rotation at this point. So I'm going to put on the reflectivity because we might be able to pick it out. And even looking, James, at this reflectivity, it does look like things have become a bit more disorganized. At one point when this was moving through Lamar County, very close to Beaverton, we had what did look to be a hook echo with this, but at this point it does just look like a massive, very heavy rain. We've also got strong winds with this, but notice not even any lightning being reported with this thunderstorm here. I guess a shower. It's a very heavy shower at this point if we don't have any lightning. But looking down at that southern system again, I do want to take us back down there because this is a pretty impressive signature here looking at the reflectivity. So what you're seeing there is likely a notch there showing where the inflow is being pulled into that system. I'm going to trace it here with the pin. That would be that inflow, so the air being sucked into the storm. Here's that rotation, putting right there. putting that center of rotation right about here. So crossing over, like James mentioned, the Tom Bigby River here. And you can see that's likely where we have some of that rotation at this point. It's going to be crossing very close to Pickensville, just south of Pickensville. Let me check the correlation coefficient on this because there was a little bit of noise there. Still looks noisy. Nothing that at this point tells me that this tornado is on the ground, but that doesn't mean it's not about to be on the ground here in the next few radar scans. These often touch down quickly and then they can pull back up. So of course, treat this like it is a tornado on the ground. If you're in this polygon, you need to stay in that safe place. But right now, I'm going to circle on here where the most likely location of that rotation is. So it's about to cross over Highway 14. So like James mentioned, nobody should be driving on Highway 14 anywhere near Pickensville, anywhere near Aliceville, because this is about to be crossing over Highway 14 here pretty soon, headed in the general northeast direction. And this thing is moving highway speed. It's moving very quickly, moving 65 miles per hour, and you're likely not going to be able to see this tornado. So if you were to try to go outside and see it, it's going to be very wet and wrapped in rain.
I want to show people what this looked like just across the state line. Let's take WEX 05 if we can. This is going to be this same spot right here, and this was across the line. So watch this. This is video taken, and we've obviously got a rotating wall cloud here. And again, Cameron Lindsay, who shot this video, indicates that there was a funnel cloud involved in this. And this was back in Mississippi, about 10 miles west of the Alabama-Mississippi state line. And that is the storm that is coming through Pickens County, Alabama right now. So again, if you are in any of the places we've called out, for example, Carrollton, Gordo, Reform, Saps, you need to be sheltered. So again, that's what that thing looked like a little earlier. So let's go back to the radar. It's 3:41. And again, we're watching great concern here for the tornado that is now just north of Highway 14 near the community of Saps, which has had a history of tornadoes. They've been hit before. And that's going to keep on moving up here toward Carrollton. Carrollton, again, is the county seat. This is Highway 17. That's the major north-south route on that far western side of the state. Of course, 17 runs up from Carrollton back up to Reform. Nobody should be along Highway 17 or US 82 in Pickens County as well as this potential tornado moves on to the northeast. All right, so now I want to go live to Interstate 22 at the Winfield exit. And again, this is where we have our northern tornado warning that is currently in effect. And again, the signature has, and they have they have canceled the warning. All right, so the good news, Taylor just let me know that the Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Fayette and Marion. So if you are in Winfield, Guin, Brilliant, Twin, Yampertown, you're all clear. This storm, the tornadic signature has gone away. The air is awfully stable up in that part of the state, and we kind of figured that would be the case. So again, that's a live look at traffic along Interstate 22 in Marion County near Winfield. But again, we want to stress the tornado warning for Fayette, northern Fayette, southern Marion has been canceled. If you're in Winfield, Guin, Brilliant, any of those communities we've talked about, you're good. You can come out of your safe place. There is no danger from a tornado at this point. You're still under a tornado watch. So let's go back to the Pickens County storm. So now we're down to one active storm in progress now. We'll go back to the radar. So we're going to focus on Pickens County. And again, as you watch this, remember, the northern warning has been canceled. We have one tornado warning in the whole state, and it's this one. This is a tornado warning for Pickens County. This is all about 35 miles due west of downtown Tuscaloosa. This will not affect Tuscaloosa. If this continues on the current track, that's going to be moving up into the extreme northwest part of Tuscaloosa County and then up into Fayette County. But again, this will not affect the city of Tuscaloosa. This will not affect the city of Northport. This will not affect the University of Alabama. But again, a possible tornado near Saps, and again, this is north of Aliceville, that is moving right up toward Carrollton. And again, Carrollton right here, this is the county seat of Pickens County. This is where we've got the face in the window. A lot of people have been through there, and you've seen the sign showing the face. The other shot is from our Sky Cam that is at Reform that's looking back into this. Again, Reform is located right here, so the camera that you see on your screen is coming from Reform, and Taylor is working that. And remember, all of this today is going to be wrapped in rain. There's a good chance you're not going to see much of anything. And we encourage people, if you're in this warning polygon in Pickens County, don't go outside and look for this thing. You got to fight that temptation and just go to your safe place. And if there's anything out there, we'll show it to you. But we probably can't do that because it's all wrapped in rain. But again, possible tornado near Saps in Pickens County. And again, that's moving northeast right up toward Carrollton, and then ultimately the US 82 corridor, which is right here. This is Gordo, and this is Reform, and that's US 82. This is the Pickens County line up here, and this is Tuscaloosa County over here. This might clip that far northwestern corner of Tuscaloosa County. And this is where dew points are higher. Been watching the dew points are up in the middle 60s here. The air is more unstable. This is the more favorable part of the state for the possibility of a tornado. And sure enough, we have one right now. So again, this is a tornado warning that is in effect for Pickens County. The warning for northern Fayette, southern Marion has been canceled if you just missed that. We have one active warning in the entire state right now. The warning for Pickens County is set to extend until 4:15 this afternoon. That's 30 minutes from now. It's currently 3:45. And again, that's going to be moving right up here toward Carrollton. In fact, the signature is basically coming right into downtown Carrollton right now. So if you should have been sheltered 15 minutes ago, but now the call is more urgent. You need to be in a site-built home in a small bathroom, a closet, a hallway. Lowest floor, you don't have to be underground. You want to be near the center of the house if you can do that, and you want to be away from windows, and you want to wear a helmet. An inexpensive bicycle helmet will greatly mitigate your chance of being seriously injured or losing your life in the case of a tornado. So many of the injuries are blunt force trauma to this part of the body up and through here. That's why the helmet use is very important. And again, you can help us. You can be a hero in the process by calling anybody that you know or texting them. If they live in Carrollton, Reform, Gordo, any of these communities we've been talking about here in the Polygon, and let them know that they are in a tornado warning and they need to turn us on and watch, and they need to get to a safe place now. A lot of people these days are just off the grid, and we don't blame them. A lot of people just like to be off the grid. That's fine, but you can help us get them back on the grid so they'll know that they've got to do something. On a day like today when the weather's dangerous, you've got to stay on the grid. You've got to stay in touch. And if you're watching, cat videos or Freak of the Week or whatever on streaming, they're not going to tell you there's a tornado in Pickens County, Alabama. They don't know where that is, and they don't care. We do. So a tornado warning in effect for the next 30 minutes. We have a possible tornado near Carrollton that's in Pickens County. The rotation is fairly broad. It's not the best signature that we've seen, but still, no doubt you've got to be sheltered in through here. And again, that possible tornadic circulation is right at Carrollton coming up toward US 82, and most likely it's going to be moving at some point between Gordo and Reform, which is right here. Reform is here, this is Gordo, and that will be crossing Highway 82, and if it keeps up, that's going to move up into the extreme northwestern corner of Tuscaloosa County. This is Highway 171 right here that runs from Northport up to Fayette, and this is US 43 right back over here. But this will, again, we stress, this will not affect Tuscaloosa, the city of Tuscaloosa, or the University of Alabama. This will stay far northwest of the city itself. So again, a possible tornado near Carrollton in Pickens County, county seat, moving northeast. And again, the Weather Service has this moving northeast at 65 miles an hour. That's some pretty rapid motion here, and that will be moving up in the direction of US 82 in a matter of minutes. And obviously, our advice is that we don't have anyone driving on US 82 between, say, the Tuscaloosa County line and Ethelsville. You just don't want to be in a car. A tornado, even a small one, can take a car and throw it like a toy. And when that happens, that's when, again, we see serious injury and loss of life sometimes. So the worst possible place to be, it's a car or a mobile home. And it's the same thing. Mobile homes are wonderful, affordable housing, but you can't stay in them during a tornado. We had tragic loss of life in a mobile home at Sawyerville and down in Hale County, southern Hale County, a couple of weeks ago. And we don't want to hear about that today. We really need to work on that, and we're doing our best to give you time and a heads up to get out of the mobile homes and get to a community shelter, or again, anything that a site-built structure that offers shelter, whether that's a gas station, a restaurant, or whatever that is. So again, nobody should be in a mobile home, nobody should be in a car in these tornado warning polygons we're calling out today. And again, we have the tornadic circulation now just northeast of Carrollton. It has probably come through Carrollton here in the last 5 minutes. And again, the next stop is going to be up here on the US 82 corridor between Reform and Gordo. Any damage reports, Taylor? I've not seen any so far from this one.
Have not seen any either, and I keep monitoring, of course, for that confirmation from a correlation coefficient, a debris signature, and so far, so good. Haven't seen that show up either, and this has moved over Carrollton at this point, which is a fairly populated area. So if this was on the ground, I suspect we would be showing a debris signature at this point. Now that doesn't mean that this can't touch down here in the next few minutes or so, but at this point, I haven't had any confirmation from that. I haven't seen anything on social media. I've been watching that as well. But what I do want to try to do here is switch over to the Columbus radar. I know we had a couple bad scans in the velocity there, but now we're getting a clearer picture here. And this is showing us a better look at some of that rotation. This is a little bit closer to the ground, so we're seeing the lower levels a little bit better, showing us that rotation is still very close to Carrollton at this point. Looking at the correlation coefficient, nothing too concerning at this point, but this is something we watch very carefully, of course, when we're tracking these tornadoes, because if we were to see those bright colors show up.
And by the way, we have a camera on Taylor. If you can take that. People are tired of looking at me. I'm a tired old man. They don't want to see me. Thank you.
James is busy. He's got to check all the pictures, make sure we don't have any damage reports. But at this point, the center of rotation would be likely moving very close to Carrollton. It's on its way towards 82, which it's going to probably cross just to the east of Reform. But if you're in Reform, you're in that safe place because you're in the Polygon. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do another track on this system just because it's moving quickly. We're talking 65 miles per hour. That's what you drive down the highway at. So this is going to be one of those systems that once it's headed your way, it's going to be headed your way very quickly. Want to put on that track there for you and give you some approximate arrival times. Now, once you get to this time, it's too late. You should already be in that safe place. You're in that Polygon at this point, so you should already be there. But the system likely arriving very close to the Reform area or crossing just to the southeast of Reform along 82 around 358, Brownville around 409. And right now, that would be your area of rotation. Worth noting, where you are seeing this red here and this green, that's indicating some really strong winds. So although that doesn't look to me to be a tornado signature, you've got some strong winds moving through, and we know today is a day where we've got those very strong winds aloft. Those can come down to the surface, and we could be talking about severe thunderstorm warnings with wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, which is enough to also cause some damage. As you can see there on that Reform camera, heavy rain. So not a day, I know we keep saying it, but don't try to go out and see these storms. Don't try to go see the rotation. You're not going to see much of anything. And what you're actually seeing right now on that Reform camera is that straight line wind area that I was just showing you. These are just strong winds. You can see those trees blowing around. But at this point, still not showing too much in the way of, say, a debris signature on the correlation coefficient, which is good. We never want to see that. As soon as we see that, we get that confirmation that this has been on the ground. And at this point, I'm not seeing that, but still capable of producing a tornado. So right now, it will be heading very close to 82 in the next few minutes. The rotation is starting to pass to the northeast of Carrollton at this point. So we are, let's see here. All right, so the National Weather Service is discussing whether or not they're going to follow the watch farther eastward. So we're going to see what they decide to do. We've got great people at our National Weather Service here in Birmingham. They do an awesome job. So they're going to be discussing that for us, and we will pass that information along if we get that. But at this point, strongest winds are going to be right here. And you can see that they are starting to trim away that box. So let me zoom out and I can show you where they've trimmed that box away. So for some of you, we can give you that all clear. So SAPS, you are no longer in that warning polygon. So at this point, the rotation has passed north of you. So you can come out of that safe place for now. There's no immediate threat of a tornado. Aliceville, you haven't been in that polygon at all, but still the immediate threat for you is gone. This is where we're talking about, where you see those reds and those greens coming together. That's telling us that the winds are moving in different directions. Green going towards the radar, red going away from the radar. So when those touch, that's telling us that there's some rotation going on right in this area. With this is looking more to me to be a straight line wind type signature. So that's going to be crossing towards, say, northwestern Tuscaloosa County. You're going to get some strong winds. Those are moving towards the east here, while this rotation area right here is moving towards the northeast, towards 82. Likely to move right in between Reform and Gordo. So we're going to see if we can find anything on the reflectivity here. Once again, I just want to point out this is some really heavy rain where we're seeing the pinks here. I mean, that's just really heavy rain, and you're seeing that on that reform camera as well. Once again, you're not going to be able to see much of anything if you do go outside. Don't go outside, try to see this. If we find something, we're going to see it on one of our cameras, and of course, we'll show it to you here on the air. But right now, you're not going to be able to see much of anything. We're probably not going to be able to see much of anything either, just because it is raining so heavily. So still advising people not to be driving on 82. Let's pull this out a little bit. And within this last scan, this looks to me to be a bit broader, but still strong winds. Any thunderstorm we see today is going to be capable of producing those strong winds. Once again,
right,
just because we do have those strong winds up in the upper layers of the atmosphere, and that can be pulled down to the surface very easily.
Yeah, what I want to do, Taylor, real quick is kind of give a broad picture. A lot of people are just joining us. We're focusing on this one spot here in Pickens County, and again, you should be sheltered. Reform Gordo, US 82 back up toward Lubbock here because that's still evidence of a rotation. But I want to show a big picture. Let's talk about the bigger cities and where we are and where we're going for the rest of today and tonight. Let me stress, this is the only warning in the entire state. That's it. You can see it located right here, and this is in the far northeastern corner of Pickens County. Tuscaloosa here, Birmingham here. This is Anniston. This is Gadsden. This is just a lot of rain up here in North Alabama, just a rain mass that's outflow dominated. There's no evidence of any severe weather. There's a little meso low that came through Lamar County. The Weather Service issued a tornado warning briefly for southern Marion, northern Fayette. That signature is long gone. It's just raining up here. And again, there's just not that much lightning. Most of the lightning is down to the south and west, and with this storm that's in Fayette here in Pickens County. So there's no other warnings in place. The heavier storms will likely move into the Tuscaloosa area sometime between 4:30 and 5:30 today. Birmingham, probably 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Anniston, Gadsden, 6:30, 7 o'clock, maybe 7:30. That's about the timeline this evening. But again, I'm very encouraged that we've not had that many tornado reports today. Keep in mind, we've had this level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk, and typically in those you expect a number of tornadoes, but we just haven't had that many today, as everything has just been in a fairly stable air mass. So I wanted to show this large picture, and you can see there's one warning in the whole state. We're not ignoring you if you're in Birmingham or Anniston or Gadsden or even Tuscaloosa. There's nothing severe near you at this point. There's one storm on the board, and it's that one. So let's go back into it, and again, we're going to take a closer look at this, and this rotation is coming up on US 82 in Pickens County. And really, we've had no reports from EMA in Pickens County. The Weather Service, no reports of damage. We've had no reports on the Twitter and the Facebag and all the social media platforms. So that's great news. The signature looked pretty impressive earlier coming up into the southwestern part of the county, but the circulation is much more broad. And again, like Taylor talked about, evidence of strong winds up here in the northeastern corner of Pickens County. This is Tuscaloosa County and this is Pickens, but that's the circulation that's approaching Gordo. Reform, the circulation is going to be pretty far to the west of you. And again, that circulation is going to be cutting across I-82. Basically, it's doing it right now, maybe near or just west of Gordo. And understand, even though the circulation is a bit broader on radar, that doesn't change how you react to this. I want to stress that. You'll hear us say from time to time, the circulation looks broad, doesn't look as impressive. If that warning's in effect, if you're in the Polygon, you respect the Polygon and you stay in your shelter until the warning is canceled or until the warning expires. So here's our new tornado watch, and this is going to be in effect until 9 o'clock tonight, and this basically includes much of north central Alabama. So we have a new tornado watch, and this will include Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, Ashland, Lineville, Talladega, Sylacauga, Rockford, Clanton, Marion, Brent, Utah, Weiss Lake, Cherokee County here, Cleburne County, Heflin, all the counties in yellow. So this new extension of the watch is in effect until 9 o'clock tonight, and this is a tornado watch. Again, it's not a perfect type setup for tornadoes, but a lot of things are in place for tornadoes. And so we've got to be on our guard, and we've got to watch every storm carefully as they come through, and we're going to do that for you. And again, notice within this large watch now, we have two distinct watches, the one on the western side of the state, west of Birmingham until 4. And I think that maybe this replaces the whole thing, Taylor. One way or the other, we got a tornado watch until 9. That's all you need to know. And the one warning on the board is the warning here for Pickens County, but we just wanted to show you that now we have a pretty good chunk of north central Alabama under a tornado watch. So this is the current evidence of a tornado, which is very close to Gordo, maybe just west of downtown Gordo. but it's awfully close. And again, you've got to stay sheltered. And again, that's going to be crossing over into the northwest part of Tuscaloosa County. This is Highway 171 right here. This is the road that runs from Northport back up toward Fayette. You've got Brownville right here. And again, everybody along Highway 171, just be aware of that. We'll see what the Weather Service does with this. The fact that we've had no reports of any damage from Pickens County, that's pretty encouraging. Maybe something has happened, we just haven't heard about that. But the emergency management in Pickens County, they reported no damage. Social media, not seeing any reports of damage from Pickens County. And typically, if something's happening, we'll find out about it pretty quick. And so far, so good. And the circulation does look relatively broad on radar near Gordo. But again, as long as you see that flashing red on these maps, that means that is a tornado warning polygon that is active, and you should respect that. We have a tornado warning for the northwestern corner of Tuscaloosa County. Okay, so now let me stress here, this is just a small part of Tuscaloosa County, and it's for this rotation that's near Gordo, and that's going to be moving up through northern Tuscaloosa County. The city of Tuscaloosa is down here, okay, far, far south of this rotation. Some of the older legacy warning systems will sound countywide, but this is your new polygon right here. So this is for northern Tuscaloosa County. Samantha, right here, Northside High School, Walker Elementary School. Wyndham Springs up Highway 69 is right here. We've got our 2,000-foot tower that sits over here. This is Highway 171. Brownville is located right there, Moores Bridge. If you're in any of these communities, up Highway 171, up Highway 43, US 43, up Alabama Highway 69, you want to be sheltered from this possible tornado that is near Gordo in Pickens County. And I stress, this does not include the city of Tuscaloosa. If you're in Tuscaloosa, if you're in Northport, if you're on the campus of the University of Alabama, you don't have to do anything. This will not be close to you. Tuscaloosa's down here. The tornadic path is way up here. It's going to pass a good 25, 30 miles north of downtown Tuscaloosa. You don't need to do anything. There's still some confusion about how we issue warnings. Years ago, we went to these geometric shapes, polygons, because tornadoes are small, counties are huge. You don't need to warn an entire county. In fact, geographically speaking, Tuscaloosa is one of the largest counties in the entire state. And you certainly don't need to do anything in Tuscaloosa or Duncanville or Vance or Coling. You need to do something if you're in the northern part of the county. And this kind of clips the far northern part of Lake Tuscaloosa as well. So again, this is a tornado warning for the northern part of Tuscaloosa County. And again, this is going to include up Highway 171 north of Tuscaloosa County High School. Up Highway US 43, the lake is right here. You can see the northern part of Lake Tuscaloosa from about the bridge on north back up toward the Fayette County line. And Alabama Highway 69 is right here. Wyndham Springs is located right here. There's the possible tornadic circulation northeast of Gordo. Now, we can now give you an all clear if you are in Gordo. If you are in any part of really Pickens County, the danger has ended for you. If you're in Reform, you are now not the Polygon anymore. If you're in Gordo, the tornadic circulation is moving away from you to the northeast. The tornadic circulation is now moving up into northern Tuscaloosa County. I don't think we have the Wyndham Springs Sky Cam up. It's not working right now. We have a camera that's on one of our 2,000-foot towers, and quite frankly, even if it was working, you can't see anything today. You would see nothing but gray. And we just can't show you a lot today because of that. But again, Taylor is highlighting these major routes in North Tuscaloosa County. That's Alabama Highway 171. That's how most people go from Tuscaloosa to Fayette. US 43. And again, you've got the town of Samantha, which is right here. Northside High School sits here at my finger. This is Alabama Highway 69. Wyndham Springs is right here. This is the Walker County line. And if this thing holds together, it could wind up moving into southern Walker County. But we just don't know that yet. This is a day where we don't expect really long track tornadoes. We might have one, but we're not really expecting that. We are in a situation where we'll probably have tornadoes that spin up, they cycle down, they could spin up again. We'll put some of the approximate arrival times, and again, notice that Taylor's got this thing moving at 65. It is flying along very rapidly. And again, you can see New Lexington, that's near the Fayette County line at 420, which is right up here, and really New Lexington just out of the Polygon. The town of Samantha, which is clearly in the Polygon, which is right here at 417. Right now it's 403. So that'll give you about 14, 15 minutes to get into a safe place if you're in Samantha. And remember, for those of you in this polygon here, you do not want to be in a car. And if you're listening to us by radio in Tuscaloosa, we have great radio partners in Tuscaloosa, 95.3 The Bear, all of their sister stations there from Town Square. If you're in Tuscaloosa and if you need to drive north, just don't do that. You need to stop and wait. Just be patient and wait until this thing passes. But we don't want anybody driving north up Highway 171, up US 43, up Alabama 69, north out of Northport for about the next 30 minutes because you don't want to be in a car. A car is the worst possible place to be. And a mobile home is a horrible place to be. You've got to be out of a trailer home if you live in one in northern Tuscaloosa County and you need to go to either your designated community shelter or, again, some type of site-built structure. This could be just a gas station, a restaurant, fast food place, anything that would offer protection. But you can't stay in a mobile home during a tornado warning polygon. So, again, that's the call to action here for northern Tuscaloosa County. And, again, we've seen an increase in the number of lightning strikes. The lightning output clearly is ramped up, and the dew points are higher here. The dew points are up in the middle 60s. That represents unstable air, which is something you need for severe weather. And the air is much more unstable on this western side of the state. Storms on the eastern side probably not as likely to produce a tornado. There might be one, but the better dynamic support, the better instability values, the conditions are more favorable on the western side of the state. So again, the city of Tuscaloosa down here, possible tornado coming up through the northern part of the county. And again, I know a lot of people listening by radio. We'll try and do our best to be as descriptive as possible. And again, for those of you that are asking, remember, you can, if you're not listening to us on the radio with our radio partners, you can watch us. Of course, we're free over the air. A lot of younger people don't know that about local television. But we are streaming on ABC 3340's Facebook page and on our YouTube channel that will give you online options. If you have a Roku, an Apple TV, some type of over-the-top box at your house where you watch that way, you prefer to watch streaming, you can do that with Facebook Watch or on YouTube. So the reason we are here, we have, first off, potentially pretty strong winds up here coming through northern Tuscaloosa County, but right in through here, we've had evidence of tight circulation from time to time. And again, I want to stress that if you're in Pickens County, the danger is over. I know that you've still got a small polygon here. That's going to vanish in just a second. So the danger for Pickens County is ended. We have a tornado warning in effect. In fact, the Weather Service officially just canceled that warning for Pickens as the circulation is now exclusively in Tuscaloosa County. This is the town of Ecola here. US 82 is down here, by the way. This is Coker, Buell, Elrod. And again, what you've got in I heard that, producer, that is not in the polygon, so we're not going to take that. What we're looking for video that would be within the polygon area right in through here, which is in North Tuscaloosa County. But again, US 82 is not involved in this. US 82 in Tuscaloosa County, you're fine. If you need to travel on US 82 from Northport all the way over through Pickens County, the danger for Pickens County is ended from the storm. Now, it's raining. The weather's terrible, but I'm talking tornado danger here. But again, we've got broad circulation here, and the circulation does look pretty broad. This is not your classic tornado signature at this point, but we have broad circulation now that's in the far northwestern part of Tuscaloosa County coming up on Highway 171. Remember, it can tighten up again in a heartbeat. With each volume scan, we see something new. But again, Highway 171, I'd say in terms of driving, nobody should be on Alabama 171 from Tuscaloosa County High School to the Fayette County line. And then in terms of US 43, same thing. From around County High back up toward the Fayette County line, nobody should be driving. If you are in the community of Samantha, anywhere near Northside High School, you should be sheltered at this point. And up Alabama Highway 69, up to the Walker County line, Wyndham Springs, Wiley right here, you should be sheltered as well. So the tornado warning for northern Tuscaloosa County, and this is the only warning we have in the entire state. People say, well, you're not showing my town. We're not showing your town because there's no severe weather there. We have to focus on life-threatening storms. The tornado warning, and we have a new tornado warning for parts of Fayette, Tuscaloosa, and Walker. And this is for a separate circulation that is located near Berry, 7 miles south of Berry. And again, this is your new polygon right here. So again, the Weather Service believes that in this area there could be evidence of a tornado. So now we have two polygons, two distinct polygons for two separate circulations. And I know when you start to see all of this flashing here, it can be a little chaotic, but just understand we have two areas of rotation the Weather Service is concerned about. But this northernmost polygon includes the city of Berry. This is in Fayette County. This is Walker County, and this will include Jasper. This will include Cordova. This will include Dora, Summerton, Sipsey, and Empire. and also Oakman, which is right here. So if you're in any of those communities we just called out in Fayette County, just be aware that there is a new tornado warning in effect for you. And again, the Cordova's here, this Interstate 22 right here, this is Oakman right here. So again, that's your new tornado warning polygon. So we have two distinct warnings in effect here. Interstate 22, Taylor is highlighting right here. You can see nobody should be along Interstate 22 from the Jefferson County line to Jasper. Nobody should be up on Old U.S. Highway 78 up here, Alabama Highway 5. From the county line around the Green Top barbecue back up toward Jasper, same thing. You shouldn't be driving out here. Sipsey, Empire, Boldo, Cordova, Doris, Summerton, Oakman, Parish. If you're in any of these towns we're talking about here in Walker County, we have a possible tornadic circulation coming your way. I will say it is not the most impressive signature here. Is this Columbus or Birmingham, Taylor? Just out of curiosity.
This is Columbus.
Let's look at this one off the BMX radar really quickly. Just want to see what that looked like coming from a different angle. Looks pretty similar. And again, this is what they're concerned about right here. The wind velocities are pretty high at that point. And remember, we have a second circulation to the south coming through northern Tuscaloosa County. And again, Taylor's highlighting some of these communities. And if we're circling anywhere close to where you live, and if you're in one of these polygons, you need to do something about it. And again, on a day like today, the encouragement, it's for you to help us in the warning process. A lot of people that are in these polygons, they probably have no earthly idea.
There's a lot of folks driving around in downtown Jasper right now.
Yeah, they have no idea that we even have a chance of bad weather today. And I'm not blaming them. It's just we're busy. And a lot of people, they're not weather dweebs or dorks or weenies. They just don't have time to worry about the weather, and they don't know. And they're not watching or listening through our radio partners. So if you can call them or text them, if they're in any of these places we're talking about, to let them know, hey, you need to pay attention to the weather. Turn us on, and we'll take care of them, but they've got to know to do that. And a lot of these folks don't have a weather radio, and they might have their phone, apps turned off. So just help us in the warning process, and that's called the Be a Hero campaign. I think it's a great campaign. You can really help us, and you can clearly help in the life-saving process of how this whole thing works. So again, the lead system, the lead tornado warning here, this is for Walker County and extreme eastern Fayette County. This does include Berry. That's tornadic circulation is kind of hugging the Tuscaloosa-Fayette County line, which is right here. And again, Berry is here. That's in Fayette County. And again, that's going to be coming right up the chute here, crossing over around Corona, and then crossing up toward Oakman, and then crossing up here toward Cordova and the Interstate 22 corridor, which is right in through here. So just if you live in any of these places we're talking about, again, you have to be sheltered. And again, the northern Tuscaloosa County storm, that one is not as well defined, and it seems like this is becoming the dominant circulation right now. But again, remember, until these things are canceled or until they just go away, you need to stay sheltered. You respect the polygon. That's why we say these things. Everything we say, there's a meaning behind it. And on days like today, it's important to remember that. So we have broad circulation here that's coming up towards Samantha in Tuscaloosa County. Still, the potential for a tornado is there. You need to stay sheltered. Samantha back up toward Wyndham Springs, US 43, Alabama 69. And again, this continues to tighten up the circulation here, which is near the Fayette-Tuscaloosa County line. Berry is here. That's moving up toward Walker County, and that's the reason you've got Jasper, Cordova, Parish, Oakman, Good Springs, Corona, all of these communities in this tornado warning polygon for that northern circulation. And this is going to be one of these frustrating days. I know that you'll watch TV out of Nebraska or Kansas, and they show these beautiful funnel clouds seen from 50 miles away. This ain't Kansas. This is Alabama, and you can't see them. They're rain-wrapped. There is no visibility, and we just can't do that, which is frustrating. We've learned from social science studies it's awfully hard for people to do something when they watch radar. They just see a bucket of spilled paint here, but I'm encouraging you to please listen to our call to action, even though we're stuck showing you radar on days like today with everything being rain-wrapped. And if you see your town showing up here, or if you're in one of these polygons, you've got to stay sheltered. No mobile homes, no cars. You need to be in a site-built house in a small bathroom on the lowest floor, away from windows, near the center. Approximate arrival times. We have Oakman here at 4:24. Boley Springs, that's in Fayette County at 417. Boley Springs is located right here. Boley Springs took a really rough hit April 27, 2011. Again, they've had a history of tornadoes in through here, and that's a pretty good signature. I'd say that is the most violent signature we've seen on radar today in our part of the state. And again, that tornadic circulation is going to be coming up across parts of Fayette County, Boley Springs, Corona, back up toward Oakman, Parrish, and then ultimately Interstate 22 around Cordova, probably staying a little south of Jasper, but Jasper, you are in the Polygons. So again, if you're in the city of Jasper, you've got to be sheltered as well. And then coming up towards Sipsey and Empire in the northeastern part of Walker County. And if that continues, that might affect parts of Blount or southern Cullman counties as well. The second circulation is this one right here, and the southern circulation is more broad in nature, but still that's near Samantha on U.S. Highway 43 in Tuscaloosa County, and that's the one coming up toward Wyndham Springs along Alabama Highway 69, which is right here. So again, we have two distinct tornado warning polygons today, one for northern Tuscaloosa County, one for eastern Fayette County and much of Walker County in the far, far northern part of Tuscaloosa County. And again, that's the best signature we're seeing on radar, which is right here. And still no damage reports. Taylor, that's the good thing, right? I've seen nothing here.
So far, no damage reports. There was actually, I take that back, there has been a report of damage to a barn roof in Lamar County. So that would have been that first tornado warning that we were talking about. There was some damage to a barn roof, so that was a while ago, but within the last, I'd say 10 minutes or so, we have not seen any reports of damage. But what I do want to point out is that northern circulation looks like it's starting to tighten up a bit, monitoring it on some other radar sites as well, and it does look like it's getting a little bit better structure. So what that would tell us is that there is the possibility that this is strengthening a little bit, which you should already be in your safe place anyway. You're going to be all right. We are going to get through it together. But what we want to show you is that where we've got these reds and these greens here, that's one of the tighter circulations that we've seen so far today, especially when I put it into the base velocity mode here. You see the really bright green coming into contact with the red. That's showing us that that's a pretty tight rotation. So this is going to be headed in the general direction of Oakman and Parrish here, eventually crossing over I-22 near Cordova. If it holds together near Sipsey after that, moving along along I-22, also along Highway 5. This is also going to cross over 69. But I want to pull a storm track because these are really moving quickly today. These are highway speeds. This is what you drive on the highway. 65 miles per hour is not a lot of time, which James has been talking about, who is in and who is out of the Polygon for quite some time now. But if you have not made that trip down to your safe place or to wherever your safe place is, you got to be there, especially if you're in Parrish, Boldo, Sipsey. These are approximate arrival times. This isn't when you should start to go to your safe place. This is when that center of circulation could arrive in your location. So we are talking 425 in Oakman. We're looking at the Marietta community, 425 as well. Kings Mill, 427. And then if this holds together, it will eventually be approaching I-65. At this point, the warning has not been extended, but even look now within that last radar scan, an indication that this is holding fairly good structure here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this radar here on my phone. At this point, I'm not seeing...
And I will say, I've scanned a lot, and I've seen no damage reports, Taylor, which is good. You know, we might have some, but I've not seen any, and I've got a whole bunch of people that follow me on the social media channels, and typically if a tree limb blows down, we'll know about it, and we just don't see anything at this point, which is great news. But understand, the day is young, and we've got to get through the evening. So again, Taylor is highlighting what could be a tornado down. Again, this is the community of Boley Springs in Fayette County. If you're in Berry, this is now east and southeast of you. We can give an all clear to Berry. But again, Boley Springs, you should be sheltered. This is the county line. This is Fayette County. This is Walker County. The possible tornado is going to cross into Walker County. This is Highway 69
there we
coming
go.
up
We
toward
got a TDS
Oakman.
now.
Right, and now we're starting to see debris being lofted. So again, you see the lowering here in the correlation coefficient product. This is the radar telling us there's something different about the echoes. The way radar works, it sends out beams of electromagnetic energy that bounce off objects. And sometimes the beams come back differently, and they don't correlate well with everything else. And the lowered CC here means that it's not hydrometeors. It's not rain or snow or ice or sleet. It's something different. It's tree limbs. And in this case, it's most likely parts of trees or tree limbs because it's over a fairly sparsely populated area. So again, we've got potential now for a tornado that is down, very strong evidence of that. And again, let me kind of read what the Weather Service is saying now based on that TDS, a tornado debris signature. We have a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado near Boley Springs. This is well east of Fayette. This does not include you in Fayette. This is moving toward the northeast at 55 miles an hour. So an extremely dangerous storm. If you're anywhere near Boley Springs, you should stay sheltered. You should have been sheltered about 20 minutes ago. And this kind of creates a more urgent need for those of you in Walker County to be sheltered. This is the town of Corona right here. This is the town of Oakman in Walker County, which is right here. And again, anybody near Boley Springs or Oakman, you've got to be in a safe place. The town of Parrish is located right here on Highway 269. Oakman is on Alabama Highway 69. So again, this is a situation where you do not want to be in a car. You can't be in a car, and you cannot be in a mobile home to be safe. You need to get yourself out of the mobile home if you can, and hopefully you arranged transportation earlier today and go to some gas station, any site-built home, a neighbor that's got a site-built home that would offer you protection, and people are mostly willing to do that. There's some good people that live here, but you cannot stay in a mobile home in a situation like this. You've got to get out, and you can't be driving. And I know it's inconvenient. I know it's 4:19. People want to go home, but everything in life is a decision, and you make good ones and you make bad ones, and it's not worth making a bad one here in terms of trying to drive in a tornado situation. So again, we have strong evidence of a tornado that is down, debris that is being lofted right here, that is passing just south of the community of Boley Springs, or awfully close to Boley Springs. Again, sometimes the storms are tilted, and again, that's going to be moving northeast. That's going to be crossing out of Fayette County into Walker County. And again, Oakman has had a long history of tornadoes. You've been through these before, and you know the drill. So again, Oakman is here. This is the town of Corona along Highway 18 in the far western part of Walker County, and this is Parrish. And again, the two more sizable communities in the path of this would be Oakman and Parrish. And again, you've just got to be in a safe place. This is something you don't want to fool around with. The lowered CC is right here, very close to the town of Boley Springs in Fayette County, moving northeast like that. So again, the call to action with this warning for Walker County, the Weather Service is calling this a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado over Boley Springs, moving from Fayette County into Walker County, and you've got to be in a safe place. And again, that'll be crossing Highway 69. That's Alabama Highway 18 that goes back over toward Berry. 69 from Oakman goes up to Jasper. This is Highway 269 right here that goes through Parrish. So again, nobody traveling on Alabama 69, nobody traveling along Alabama Highway 269, and that's Interstate 22, and it's the same call. Nobody should be on Interstate 22 in Walker County, say between the Jefferson County line and the city of Jasper. You just don't want to take that chance. If this is indeed a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado, something like that will take that car and flip it like it's a toy. And often you can't survive that, and it's just not worth that. So you pull over at a spot on the side of the road where you can get into a gas station, a restaurant, a fast food establishment, whatever you've got. They'll let you get in there and stay safe until this thing passes. And keep in mind, this is moving at 55 miles an hour. There's no stoplights here with tornadoes. It's going to keep on trucking, so it's going to move through here pretty quickly. So you won't have to stay, sidelined here for long on the side of the road in a safe place, but you've got to do that. So again, if you're just joining us here, it is 4:21 on Thursday afternoon. I'm James Spann with Taylor Sarallo. We have a tornadic situation here in extreme eastern Fayette County near Boley Springs, right here. This has nothing to do with the city of Fayette. You're not close to this. Fayette's way, way off to the west. This tornado is going to be coming up crossing Highway 69 near Oakman, Highway 269 near Parrish in Walker County, and we have two distinct tornado warning polygons. We're focusing on the northern polygon because clearly this is the better tornado signature here. The signature down here in northern Tuscaloosa County is very broad. And I would imagine that the Weather Service is going to be letting that one go or just let it expire at some point soon because it's just very broad rotation. But again, still, if you're in this polygon, Windham Springs, Wiley, 269, and northeast Tuscaloosa County, stay sheltered. But this is the concern right here for this tornado that is about to cross Highway 69, very close to Oakman. It'll cross Highway 269, awfully close to Parrish, and then Interstate 22, awfully close to Cordova in the town of Barney. And that'll be ultimately crossing out along Alabama Highway 5. That's old U.S. Highway 78 up here. That's awfully close to the river. So Barton's Chapel, Argo, these places up here. If you're in any of these places we're calling out, you've got to be in a safe place now. Wear a helmet if you can, if you're in a safe place. We want you to wear a bicycle helmet, a batting helmet, a motorcycle helmet, anything to protect that head, neck, and skull region, because so many of the severe injuries come from that. So we're watching our debris tracker. This is a correlation coefficient product off dual polarization radar. And it looks like, Taylor, the signature not quite as impressive now as it was 5 minutes ago.
It does. It appears that, at least for the time being, we're not seeing as strong as of an indication that this tornado is at the ground, on the ground at this point. But like we always talk about, doesn't mean that a couple radar scans from now that it won't drop again and produce some damage. So we're going to continue to treat this as a tornado on the ground, just because we haven't had enough scans here without it on the ground. And quite frankly, the velocity still looks pretty impressive on this. That's a pretty tight rotation still that is crossing over into Walker County now from Fayette County, just to the south of Oakman. So I'm going to circle that there. That's the area of greatest concern at this point. And we'll take you down and we're going to read off some of these streets. So as James keeps mentioning, it's going to cross over 69, very close to Oakman. But right now it's moving very close to Blue Water Road. So if you live in or around Blue Water Road, this circulation is going to pass very close to you. Dixie Springs Road, Ernest Chapel Road, Market Street Northwest near Oakman. That's one of the roads that's going to be in the path of this circulation. And even if you don't live on this exact road, but you know that this road is pretty close to you, go ahead and just hunker down, stay where you are. It's going to get windy. But at this point, let's check that correlation coefficient again, and hopefully we are still not showing really not showing much in the way of a really strong debris signature. But this is going to be headed in the general direction of Oakman here pretty soon, crossing State Route 18, right where that meets State Route 69. After that, it's going to continue on a track towards the general direction of Parrish and Bankhead. Then it would cross over State Route 269. And then this is going to be passing to the south of Jasper, more than likely. So at this point, I'm not seeing a really strong indication that this tornado is currently on the ground. I don't have a debris signature to show you, which is good. We love that. We don't want to see that debris signature ever. But I do want to kind of give you a big picture. So we've got 2 tornado warnings. The reason we haven't been focusing as much on the southern warning is just because the indication of rotation is just not as strong with that system. But what you are getting if you are in the Wiley community is very heavy rain. There could be some small hail with that as well, but very heavy rain near Wiley and in the Wyndham Springs area, right along 69. And this is going to keep moving eastward. If I put on here the velocity, you'll see that it's kind of broad rotation. It's not as strong of a signature, but we're seeing the indication that there's probably some strong winds here, straight line winds, which we got to take those seriously as well.
By the way, I want to mention, Taylor, real quick, that we are on our partner FM radio station in Jasper, WJLX 101.5 FM. So if you want to listen to us in Walker County, it's WJLX 101.5. Thanks to Brett and our friends there for getting us on the air. And we do have, and again, we're watching broad circulation. Both of these are pretty broad right now, which is a good thing, but we have a crew along Interstate 22. Really want to take this quickly full screen. This is coming from Bill Castle and Stephen Quinn. We can take their live view shot coming from Interstate 22. Just wanted to show you what it looks like. And again, you're obviously not going to see much. This is what you're going to see today. I mean, when you're looking for tornadoes, you're going to see gray sky and rain. If we do have tornadoes today, they're going to be rain wrapped. But again, this is Interstate 22. And before you get mad at us, these two guys have been trained in spotting for years. Bill Castle, I've been with Bill for over 30 years. He understands safety. He's been to so many spotter training sessions. He could teach it. They are safe. They understand where the rotation is, and they are safe. So we'll go back to the radar. Taylor, looks like you got something you want to share.
Oh, sorry. I was talking. The producer was talking in my ear, so I'm giving them hand signals.
Okay, no, I thought you were giving me the hand signal.
Sorry.
A lot of people in public give me a hand signal, and it's not a good one. So, again, we've got broad circulation right now. And again, the shot you saw here, this was along Interstate 22 near Cordova, around Barney, Cordova, and that was from Bill Castle and Stephen Quinn. Just pouring rain here. The circulation near Oakman is still broad, but listen, if you're still in the Polygon, you've got to stay sheltered. These are cyclic. We might get a tornado down for 5 minutes and it goes away, but then it spins back up. So as long as you are in the Polygon, respect the Polygon. That's what you've got to do. And again, this polygon does include the city of Jasper. It includes Cordova. It includes Oakman. It includes Parrish. It includes Dora, Sumiton, Sipsey, Empire. It includes Boldo. All of these places here in Walker County. Now, if you're in Boley Springs and Fayette County, the danger is over. All of Fayette County has been cleared from the warning. So Fayette County, we have no more danger here. We've got this broad circulation in northeast Tuscaloosa County that will likely expire. I don't think the Weather Service will be extending that because the circulation is awfully broad. And again, we've got broad circulation that is now south of Oakman. Thank goodness we don't have a tornado signature in really any spot right here. But remember, they're cyclic. They might spin right back up, and until we get these warnings canceled, you've got to stay sheltered. I know it's not convenient, especially if you're in a community shelter. Those can be pretty tough places. It's not the best, the most deluxe accommodations, but by golly, it's going to save somebody's life if you're in those things. So as long as there's a tornado warning polygon, you're in it, you stay sheltered. And again, you can see broad circulation now that's south of Oakman. For those of you listening, we had a really tight circulation about 10 minutes ago with the debris signature. That's gone away. That broad circulation is going to be coming up on Parrish, and then Cordova, and then Sipsey, Argo, Empire. So that's broad circulation. That's the northernmost. The southernmost broad circulation is near the Warrior River. This is near the Jefferson County line. And again, we're going to keep an eye on that. I say the Jefferson County line near the Walker County line, actually. But both of these are awfully broad. In fact, it looks more like a wind event here, this entire segment right here. There's not really a tornado circulation at the moment in either spot. But that could change, and the Weather Service might let these go here if this continues, and they might replace the tornado warnings with severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, the news is encouraging as we watch these radar trends. And let's just look at a broad picture. And Taylor, you're going to show a second area of rotation back in here. The Weather Service is watching Pickens, Sumter, Greene, down in through here where there's broad evidence of rotation. For the moment, they don't have any warnings in effect down here, but just be aware there could be other tornado warnings later this evening for other parts of the state. The air is more stable down here. The farther south you go, the dew points are higher, the instability values are greater, and we could certainly see a tornado down here later today, especially on the southern end of this line. It's not fighting adjacent storms for inflow from the south. But the warnings currently in effect are these up in here for parts of Walker County and extreme northeastern Tuscaloosa County. And again, this has nothing to do with the city of Tuscaloosa. But again, if you are in Oakman, Parrish, Cordova, Argo, Sipsey, Empire, Dora, Sumiton, you got to stay sheltered. I promise the minute the Weather Service releases these warnings, we will let you know. And it looks like the Weather Service has canceled perhaps our southernmost warning. They've canceled the warning for Tuscaloosa County, and I think that's the right thing to do. So again, we can give an all clear to northeastern Tuscaloosa County. If you were in and I say all clear, that doesn't mean that you look up and the sun is shining. It means the danger of a tornado for now has ended. So this southern polygon is going away. The northern polygon for Walker County will stay in place. That is scheduled to stay in place until 5 o'clock this afternoon. That's for the next 30 minutes, but it's really broad. And again, there's no evidence of any circulation, tornadic circulation in here at this point. Still, stay sheltered if you're in this polygon right here. Again, this is Alabama Highway 5. That's old US 78. If you drove from Birmingham to Jasper, you drove that road a bunch of times. But this is the new Interstate 22 right here that's down to the south. The town of Cordova sits right here. This is Parrish. That's Alabama Highway 269. Good Springs here, Parrish here. That broad circulation is now past Oakman. So if you're in Oakman, we can give you an all clear from the possibility of a tornado at this point. Still, if you're in Parrish, Cordova, Sipsey, Empire, Argo, Dora, Sumiton, stay sheltered. Jasper, the city, downtown Jasper is not in the polygon. You're kind of sitting on the edge of that thing. But again, this broad circulation will likely stay to the south of Jasper. But still, as long as you're in these flashing red polygons, and again, this one down here is going away. The Weather Service has pretty much canceled that. And this is it. Let's pull it out. Let me show a big picture. Taylor, real quick while we have a second here. It's 4:31. We have a large rain mass over the northern half of Alabama. And for most of you, it's just raining. We have no severe weather over the Tennessee Valley. It's raining in Marion, Winston, Cullman counties. You just don't see a lot happening here, but we're watching storms back to the south and west. A few storms are severe down here, but the good news, we don't see any tornado warning polygons coming out of South Mississippi. So again, just a lot of rain. The rain is moving into Birmingham. Heavier rain will likely affect Birmingham by 5 o'clock this afternoon. For Anniston, Gadsden, you've got some light rain falling. Heavier storms will likely arrive there after 6 o'clock. Pouring rain in parts of Pickens and Greene and Sumter counties in West Alabama. Tuscaloosa, mostly light rain right now. But again, just wanted to show this big picture. And we've got this one spot right here where we've had circulation. And again, it's awfully broad at this point. So we'll take a look at Walker County and go back to the velocity display and see what we see here. And again, you just don't see a lot. There's not a tornado signature here. But that doesn't mean that you can come out of your safe place. If you're in the Polygon, you stay there until the warning is canceled by the Weather Service in Birmingham. We are watching multiple sources here. We've got our people in the field with live streams. We have the social media channels with everybody that you're so helpful. By the way, your pictures and your video, it's our window to the world. We don't have windows in the studio here. Your material is a lifesaver for us, and we appreciate everything that you send to us. We can't reshare everything, but I see everything, and I really appreciate everything. I'm honored that you send it to me. Out of all the weather people in the world, thank you. That means a lot. And it certainly helps on a day like today. But through all of the social media channels, but we've just not seen any damage. I know there's some damage because we had a tornado down just around Boley Springs, and hopefully that was in a wooded area where we didn't have people that lived there. We don't know that, but we know there was at one point a tornado down because of the debris signature here. But right now we just don't have a tornado signature in either one of these spots. But the warning will stay in a place. And what the Weather Service does, and they're doing it right. You don't want to cancel a warning and reissue it and just, flip-flop around like a fish out of water. You want to be fairly consistent here. And they'll watch for multiple volume scans. And if this trend continues, they'll let this warning go. I will say that the storm is moving into an environment that is much more stable up here. The dew points are lower. It's rain-cooled air, and it's not really a classic environment for tornadoes at this point. I do want to show the tornado watch, Taylor. Much of the area is in a tornado watch. We've got, it's a classic cold season case in February. We've got very good dynamics. We have poor thermodynamics, and we get this a lot. And even in a situation like this, you can have some pretty nasty tornadoes. And this is tornado season. It's another thing. A lot of people say, we're not supposed to be having tornadoes here in February. Well, yes, we are. This is the season. In fact, on this date in 2008, a horrible EF3 went through Prattville, injuring 50 people just north of Montgomery. I can give you 150 examples since 1950 that we do have tornadoes here this time of the year. But that's the tornado watch, and it includes basically all of our territory here, in effect until 8 or 9 o'clock, Taylor?
9 o'clock for the eastern part, 8 o'clock for the western part, and we have a new tornado warning. So
okay.
We'll go back to that now.
So this is going to be the one down in Greene and Sumter counties. This is, and again, the stuff you see in Walker and northeastern Tuscaloosa County, that's very, very broad. So let's go down to our new tornado warning. This is going to be a tornado warning in effect for parts of Greene and Sumter counties. This is in West Alabama. This is in effect until 5:15 this afternoon. We have a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado over West Greene, 16 miles south of Aliceville, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. So let's show you who's in and who's out. And again, there's your circulation right here. This is Alabama Highway 14. Of course, that's the first call. Don't be traveling on Highway 14. A lot of people do at this hour of the day. Between Utah and Aliceville, you shouldn't be traveling right now. So nobody on Highway 14. That's the major route in this polygon. The city of Utah is not in the polygon. This is all north of Utah. This is the town of West Greene right here. And again, the tornadic circulation is basically on top of West Greene. That's about 10 miles south of Aliceville. It's going to be coming up north of Interstate 5920. The town of Union is right here. And again, if this continues, this one will be moving into Tuscaloosa County in a place where it might affect the city of Tuscaloosa, maybe if it holds together. We hope that it doesn't. But again, this is the new tornado warning polygon here. And this is for parts of, and really Sumter County, we can give you an all clear. Sumter County is right here. This is the Tombigbee River right here. This is Sumter and this is Greene. The circulation is exclusively in Greene County. So Sumter County, you're good. This is for northern Greene. This is the Sipsey River, which is the border between Pickens County and Greene County. And this is all in northern Greene County. Pickens County is not involved in this. So we have a tornado warning in effect now for northern Greene until 5:15 this afternoon. And again, notice if this thing continues, you've got the city of Tuscaloosa, which is right here. So it certainly bears watching if you're in the city of Tuscaloosa. But again, nobody should be on Highway 14 for the next 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes between Utah and Aliceville. Let this thing pass. And again, Interstate 5920 is down here. Technically, you are in the polygon. Most likely, this will be passing north, but as a course of least regret, We would advise no travel on Interstate 5920 between the Tuscaloosa County line and the Alabama Highway 14 exit. That would include the green track exit right here. So again, I just wouldn't want to be on 5920, but most likely the tornadic circulation is going to stay north of Interstate 5920 over northern Greene County, and then ultimately moving into southwest Tuscaloosa County. Gina's sitting right up in here. That's in Greene County. The town of Knoxville, that's Alabama, not Tennessee, right here. And again, we'll put a track on this. The tornado is moving at about 60. And you can see the approximate arrival times of some of the smaller communities. Snotty, that's in Greene County at 4:54. Knoxville, that's in Greene County at 4:58 this afternoon. And again, we've got a live stream. Is this Evan Chickvara? Yeah. Okay. So again, we've got Evan Chickvara, who is in the process of intercepting this. Evan, of course, is a meteorologist here, and again, he's good. We don't want you doing this. If you've not been trained in spotter training, you've got no business being out in this type of weather. But for a meteorologist, for trained spotters, that's what they do. They have been trained in safety. It's always safety first. And again, we'll be watching Evan's live stream. And again, he's on Interstate 5920 in Greene County. He's going to be doing an intercept, so we'll be able to see more of this. And if we can take this full screen, I want to be sure these towns people can see. We've cut that off. I'm sorry, Taylor, we had the towns cut off in a double box on television. So if you can redraw the track for me.
Yeah.
Whenever we go to a double box, it cuts off part of the screen, and those people couldn't see the arrival times. I want to be sure that they've got that. So Taylor's going to do a new storm track with the ETA. And again, that circulation is getting awfully close to Highway 14.
And we do have another one as well that we'll go to after this, a new one.
Okay. And again, this is going to be for parts of Jefferson and Walker. But again, these are the approximate arrival times. We've got Gina at 4:57, Knoxville at 4:56. These are small towns in the northern part of Greene County. So tornado warning, northern Greene County, no travel on Highway 14. Let's go to our new warning. The Weather Service has opted to reissue a warning for one of the northern circulations. So let's go up north, Taylor, to our storm that is affecting parts of Walker and extreme northern Jefferson. And again, this is our new Polygon right here, okay? And again, this is awfully broad, but the Weather Service believes that there's enough evidence there that they're going to go ahead and issue a warning for northern Jefferson. This does not include downtown Birmingham. And again, this is going to be tough. A lot of the older legacy systems are going to sound countywide. We don't issue warnings based on counties. We issue warnings based on geometric shapes, polygons. So you might hear some warning device, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're in a warning. So let me make it perfectly clear. I want to take this full screen real quick while I call out the names of these towns. We'll go back to the double box in just a second. This is our new warning for northern Jefferson for the possibility of a tornado. Out here, Alliance. This is Highway 269 right here. That's in far northwestern Jefferson County near Birmingport. Some of the other communities involved in this would be Forestdale, Adamsville, Brookside, Cardiff, Sayre, Gardendale, Fultondale, Mount Olive, Pinson, Clay, Bradford, Morris, Kimberly. Okay, so if we called out the name of your town, or if you're close to those towns, you are now in a tornado warning. The tornado warning is going to be in effect until 5:30 this afternoon. And again, this is because of a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado out around the Gorgas Steam Plant, the old Gorgas plant, about 13 miles south of Cordova. And the Weather Service has this moving east at 70 miles an hour. These are screaming through here today. So again, this is a new tornado warning for northern Jefferson County. And again, the track here doesn't correlate exactly with that warning, but again, you might see your town there, give you some ideas of the approximate arrival times of this. But again, it's pretty broad right in through here. But this is what the Weather Service is concerned about. And again, that's out here near Birmingport and Alliance in the far northwestern part of the county. This is north of Oak Grove. I was down in Oak Grove this week. Been a busy week. Oak Grove, you're okay. This is north of you. So again, that's going to be coming out here toward the Interstate 22 corridor, the old Highway 78, Adamsville, Forestdale, Brookside, Cardiff, Sayre, Interstate 65, US 31, Fultondale, Gardendale, Mount Olive, Kimberly, Morris, Bradford, Pinson, Center Point, Clay, the northern part of Trussville. This is all north of downtown Birmingham. If you are in a hospital, UAB, or another hospital in downtown Birmingham, you don't need to do anything. You are not involved in this. It's important to know who's in and who's out. It's a very disruptive situation when tornado warning plans are implemented in things like hospitals. So again, we stress that downtown Birmingham is not involved in the tornado warning. The Polygon boundary is here. And again, you can see this includes Adamsville, Forestdale, Brookside, Cardiff, Sayre, Fultondale, Gardendale, Mount Olive, Kimberly, Morris, Pinson, Clay, the northern part of Trussville, the town of Centerpoint, which is right here. So that's your new tornado warning in effect, and this is for northern Jefferson County. We still have a warning for extreme eastern Walker County. There's just no evidence of a tornado in through here. There could be some strong winds. In fact, everybody's got strong winds today. Pressure gradient winds, not related to tornadoes. So just be aware of that. So now we can go back to our double box. We've got multiple crews out in the field, and if you tell me where this shot would happen to be. Okay, let's go to our Birmingham Sky Cam real quick. This is a look back into that storm. This is coming from the top of the Alabama Power Company headquarters downtown. And again, that's Malfunction Junction down below. That's the intersection of Interstate 65, 2059, downtown Birmingham. And we're not going to be able to show you much today. We just can't do that. It's going to be very challenging, but just be aware that we've got the potential for a tornado moving through northern Jefferson. So let's go back to the radar. And what I want to do right now is show a larger view, Taylor, of the multiple tornado warnings we have. On a day like today, we have to bounce back and forth between different warnings. So this is the warning for northern Jefferson County. Okay, this includes Gardendale, Fultondale, Forestdale, Adamsville, Mount Olive. Let me show a big picture if we can, expand this thing out. I want to show all of our tornado warning polygons. This is the one that's in effect for northern Greene. Okay, if you're in northern Greene County, north of Utah, you got a tornado warning polygon. We got a tornado warning polygon for the northern part of Jefferson County and far eastern Walker County. So again, north of Utah, the town of Union, you've got to be in a safe place. The town of Snotty, you've got to be in a safe place. North of Utah, and again, we're going to watch that because if that thing holds together, it could wind up coming up into Tuscaloosa County. We've got the possible tornado circulation coming up through northern Jefferson, so we're going to bounce back and forth. Let's quickly go to Greene, and we'll go right back to northern Jefferson. Want to show what's happening in West Alabama. Listen, if you live out in the country, your life is just as important as somebody that lives in the city, and we don't mess around with that. We're going to show all storms. Let's look at the velocity coming off the storm that is in Greene County.
And James, worth noting that there is a message in the chat about wall cloud spotted near Gainesville from this
Okay.
From this exact system.
Okay,
so.
And again, you can see the circulation near Highway 14. So the bottom line is Gina, Union, Knoxville, northern Greene County, north of Utah, you got to be sheltered. That's the screaming message. If this gets into Tuscaloosa County, we'll let you know. Let's go back to northern Jefferson. And again, this is going to be a circulation that will not affect downtown Birmingham. We want to make that perfectly clear. This is going to be affecting the northern part of Jefferson County. All right, so again, it's right in through here. And again, you can see the polygon does not include downtown Birmingham. The polygon includes, I'll call these out again, a lot of people come and go. A lot of people say, why do you say the same thing over? Because people come and go. So if you're in any of these towns in northern Jefferson, you need to be sheltered right now. This would include Forestdale, Adamsville, Brookside, Cardiff, Gardendale, Mount Olive, Kimberly, Morris, Bradford, Fultondale, Clay, the northern part of Trussville. That's where we have a tornado warning in effect. It is not a classic signature. I'll give you that. It's not. But the Weather Service believes, based on the conditions we have today and what they're seeing, that it is worth having that warning in place for the northern part of Jefferson County. And again, we're going to be watching the cameras looking north. We can't see a lot today because everything's going to be rain wrapped. Let's look at the reflectivity real quick, Taylor. And this is coming from BMX, I think.
This is from Columbus.
Yeah, let's go back to BMX for this one. So again, you can see let's look at velocity now coming from Birmingham. We get a much better idea of the situation here. So there we go. Again, this is Highway 269. This is out here toward Birmingport and Alliance. And you can see that potential circulation is next going to be crossing Interstate 22. This is the intersection of US 78 and Interstate 22 right here. This is where Interstate 22 used to end. And again, Highway 5 it goes up towards Sayre and the county line. But that'll be crossing over Interstate 22 near the US 78 intersection. Near Cardiff, Brookside, Graysville is right here, Forestdale is down here. You've got Fultondale, you've got Gardendale, Mount Olive, Kimberly, Morris, Bradford, Pinson, Centerpoint, Clay, the northern part of Trussville. All of these communities need to be sheltered. I know it is extremely inconvenient. I know it's 4:46 on a weekday when people are trying to get home. Worst possible time for this to happen, but that's when these things happen. This is typically when we have this type of weather in progress. So again, this is the situation right now. We have a possible tornado near Birmingham Port in northwest Jefferson County, about 20 miles northwest of downtown Birmingham, moving northeast, about like that. This is Interstate 22 right here. This is going to be crossing Interstate 22 near the intersection of Highway 78, Graysville, Adamsville, Forestdale, Cardiff, Brookside. Next, it's going to be crossing I-65, and this is the hard part. We don't want anybody driving on Interstate 22 or Interstate 65 north of Birmingham for the next 30 minutes. And I know that's, people are going to get their underwear flapping up down their legs about that, but listen, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Everything in life is a risk. I understand that, but it's not worth it. You know that there's a dangerous storm here. You know a car is a death trap. Why would you want to be in a car in a situation like this? You really don't. So for the sake of you and your family, just stop, pull over, get into a gas station, a fast food restaurant, a convenience store, and wait this thing out. But again, nobody should be driving north of Birmingham on Interstate 22, Interstate 65, US 31. And I know how busy those interstates are at this hour of the day, at 4:48. But please just listen to what we're trying to say here. So that's Interstate 22 right here. That's Interstate 65. Of course, US 31 parallels Interstate 65. Alabama Highway 79, same thing, coming out of downtown Birmingham. Tallapoosa Street exit going up toward Tarrant and Pinson. You don't want to be driving up Highway 79 right now. This is Highway 75 right here, coming north out of Pinson back up toward Aniana. Really, the only part of any Interstate 59 involved is north of Trussville, back over toward Argo. That's the Argo in St. Clair County, and that's a long way down the path here. We'll talk about that later. But the immediate concern, no travel along Interstate 22. And again, thanks to our radio partners, WZZK in Birmingham and their sister stations with Summit Media for the simulcast today. It's very important. This is how we reach people in cars. But Interstate 22, that's a no-go. Interstate 65, that's a no-go north of Birmingham. You just need to stop and wait it out. If you're in downtown Birmingham, you are fine. Weather could be horrible. It's pouring rain probably, but you're fine in terms of the threat from a tornado. So again, at this point, we'll take this shot real quick. That's Interstate 22. Where are they along Interstate 20? Oh, okay. They're in Jefferson County. They're not in Walker County. They're close to Birmingham. So let's take that Interstate 22 shot. These guys are located near the Kohlberg exit. That's not too far from I-65 looking back into this. So that makes it much more interesting. They're in Jefferson County, north of Birmingham. And again, we're going to watch all of these cameras, but it's going to be very hard to see a lot today. Just please understand that. I wish I could show you these on camera. We understand that you respond better when you see them live. But because of the nature of the weather in this state, we just can't do that a lot. So again, that is our shot for Interstate 22. Let's go back to me full screen. We're going to keep bouncing back between a lot of sources here today. And I want to point out that the Weather Service has canceled all these tornado warnings for Walker County. The Walker County warnings have all been canceled. The only warnings we have are now for northern Jefferson and northern Greene. So again, we're going to go back to Greene County in just a second. But again, Taylor's got the circulation highlighted here that's going to be crossing Interstate 22. And again, our crew, they are at the Kohlberg Road exit, which is right here, kind of looking back into this thing. And again, they're in a safe place. The safety comes first. You know, we're not going to put anybody in danger here to get live pictures. It's not worth it. But again, they're right here looking back into that. So again, we'll take it in just a second. But again, Interstate 22, the circulation will be crossing over near the Highway 78 intersection, which is just near Graysville and Cardiff and Brookside. And from there, it's going to stay north of Interstate 22, coming up toward Interstate 65, pretty close to Mount Olive. Let's zoom a little tighter. Gardendale is located right here. My finger's on Gardendale, my hand, if you will. There we go. Why it says Fieldstown and not Gardendale, I don't know. Gardendale is right here. My hand is on Gardendale. Mount Olive is up here. So understand that's the situation. And if you're in Gardendale, Mount Olive, Morris, Kimberly, you got to be in a safe place as this thing passes. We hope that it's not down. We don't see evidence of debris being lofted at this point, but that might change in any minute. And again, once it crosses Interstate 65, it'll be crossing Highway 79 up here, probably north of Pinson. And again, that would be up here toward Bradford and the Blount County line. But all of this, we stress, is north of downtown Birmingham. So that is our Birmingham storm. Very quickly, we're going to go back to the Greene County storm. We're going to come right back to North Jefferson. Very quickly, we're going to show North Greene. And again, if you live out in the country, fine. I'm from the country. I mean, we're going to take care of you too. That small tornado warning is in effect for extreme northeastern Greene County. This includes Knoxville. Gina is right here. Baseball country is right here. The town of Union here. That's pretty broad. I don't think they're going to reissue this for Tuscaloosa County. We'll see. Again, this is Romulus and Ralph. This is Tuscaloosa County, the city of Tuscaloosa here. And I know that you're very interested in this if you're in Tuscaloosa. But that's pretty broad, and I get the idea the Weather Service will not be extending that up into Tuscaloosa County. But again, Evan Chickvara is in Greene County, and he's kind of watching the storm, and we'll be talking with him shortly. But again, that's Evan shot coming from Greene County. He's on that storm, and again, we've not seen any evidence of damage from that. But then again, it's been coming across a pretty sparsely populated area. So that's North Greene. Let's go back to Jefferson. Jefferson County, our northern storm that is passing north of downtown Birmingham. And again, we stress there were just 2 warnings in the whole state. 2. Northern Jefferson, northeastern Greene. That's it. So again, this is your circulation that's located right here along Interstate 22 near the West Jefferson steam plant, near the town of West Jefferson, the steam plant, which is right here. And again, that'll be crossing over what is now Alabama Highway 5, the old U.S. Highway 78, passing north of Cardiff, north of Brookside, coming out toward Mount Olive and Gardendale. And again, this is a pretty populated part of the world in through here. So again, we'll give you an all clear for Interstate 22 in about 10 minutes. You can travel in about 10 minutes, but stay off Interstate 22. But the more urgent note here is for Interstate 65 and US 31. Nobody should be traveling by car around Gardendale, Mount Olive, Kimberly, Morris, Warrior, down toward Fultondale. Just don't drive. We don't want anybody in a car, and obviously nobody should be in a mobile home. You should be sheltered in a site-built structure, and in that safe place, you're wearing a helmet. A bicycle helmet, a motorcycle helmet, a batting helmet. And if you know anybody that's in these areas, and if you're watching us, maybe you have a loved one here, an old neighbor, you know somebody, call them or text them. Help us be part of the warning process, because so many people today just don't know what's going on. They're off the grid, and on a day like today, you need to be on the grid. So again, tornadic circulation has just crossed over Interstate 22 near the West Jefferson steam plant. And again, that'll be crossing, it's pretty much crossing Highway 5, the old U.S. Highway 78 right now. It'll be passing north of Cardiff, north of Brookside. And again, the general motion is going to carry this thing up toward Gardendale and especially up toward Mount Olive and maybe Morrison through here. This is all about 20, 25 miles north of downtown Birmingham. Just for the fun of it, let's go back to that Sky Cam, Taylor. We're going to look north from the Alabama Power Company headquarters downtown. And again, you just can't see a lot. It's a day where I wish I could show you some exciting, riveting pictures of tornadoes or video. I just can't do that today. It is a challenging situation. We got one report of damage, by the way, from Valerie Bell. Russ Taylor, the EMA director in Fayette County, tells Valerie that they have reports of trees down, power lines down, and roads blocked in Boley Springs from an earlier tornado. You saw that. That was our TDS we had today. And we knew that was going to be the case somewhere up and through there. So again, that was a situation from earlier today up in Fayette County. And let's see if we can take WEX 05 real quick. Wanted to just show some quick video coming from Gardendale. And again, it's going to be a situation where we just can't see a lot. And again, Gardendale is in the path of this tornado, potential tornado. You've got Mount Olive in the path as well. So let's go back to the radar. It's 4:55. I'm James Spann with Taylor Sarallo. And we're starting to see evidence now of debris being lofted here. That's a lowered CC correlation coefficient. So we're now seeing evidence that a tornado is down along Old Highway 78, Alabama Highway 5, just north of the Interstate 22 junction. And that potential tornado is going to be moving northeast, again, in the general direction of Mount Olive, Kimberly, Morris, Warrior, northern part of Gardendale. And if you're in any of these places we're calling out, you need to be sheltered. You don't need to be in a mobile home or a car. Lowest floor, near the center, small room, no windows. Closet, hall, bathroom, that's a great place to be. Wearing a helmet, and we'll get through this fine. You don't have to be underground, and you don't need to become overly anxious. I know some people have storm anxiety, and these days are hard for them. But just follow the information, follow the advice we give you, and we'll get through this together just fine. Again, these are approximate arrival times. We have Kimberly at 5:07. That will be the same for Morris. And again, you've got Majestic at 509, Warrior at 509. It is currently 456, so you don't have a whole lot of time here. But again, we have a lowered CC debris that is being lofted by a tornado along Alabama Highway 5, the old U.S. Highway 78, just north of Interstate 22. That came through West Jefferson. And this tornado is going to, and it's got a very strong velocity signature now. Looks as good as it looked in a while. And again, that'll be crossing Interstate 65, most likely probably a little north of Gardendale. But remember, if you're in the Polygon, you stay in a sheltered place. That would include Gardendale, Mount Olive, Kimberly, Morris, all the way down to Fultondale. And this will probably pass north of Fultondale, but still, you need to be sheltered. Fultondale is on the southern boundary of this. My fist right here is on Gardendale. This is Mount Olive right over here. And again, that goes up toward Corner. But all of you, Gardendale, Mount Olive especially, that's the main message here, Kimberly, Morris. You've got to be in a safe place. You please take this one seriously and fight the temptation. So many people want to go outside and look. It's human nature. People want to seek confirmation. We know that. Fight it off and don't do that. That's just a boneheaded move on a day like today because you can't see anything. These things are rain wrapped on a day like today, and it doesn't make sense to do it even if they're not rain wrapped. So just be sheltered, and that's the best solution for you and your family. And again, once it crosses Interstate 65 and US 31, we're looking up here toward Massey Line, Bradford. This is in the far northeast part of Jefferson County, north of Pinson. But again, Pinson, Bradford, Massey Line, and then ultimately we'll have to be looking at Blount County here. We'll see if that continues, but that's a very, very good looking look on the velocity display coming from multiple radars. And again, let's look at our correlation coefficient coming from Birmingham to see if we have a lowered CC in through here, and we do right there. And again, it's now just east of Alabama Highway 5. And that's going to keep on moving to the northeast. This is south of Bagley and south of Sayre. It's north of Brookside, north of Cardiff. And again, that'll be crossing Interstate 65 up here, a little north of Gardendale. This is Fieldstown Road right here, just to get your bearings straight. Fieldstown Road is here. You've got Mount Olive right in through here. And again, that's going to be really close to anybody that lives close to Mount Olive. But Gardendale is here. Fieldstown Road is right there. This is Interstate 65, that's U.S. Highway 31. This is Morris, this is Kimberly. And again, you've dealt with tornadoes before. Had a bad one in here in 2014. And again, this tornado is going to be crossing County Road 77, which is Newfound Road, and then ultimately crossing Interstate 65 and U.S. Highway 31. Mount Olive, Gardendale, especially the northern part of Gardendale. You've got to be sheltered. Nobody should be driving on US 31. Nobody should be driving on Interstate 65 north of Fultondale, between Fultondale and the Blount County line. Again, technically, Warrior is a little out of the Polygon, but if you're in Warrior, I'd be sheltered too. You might have a Warrior mailing address and you are in the Polygon. And that will continue moving to the northeast. This is a very densely populated part of the world out here. And again, this thing is coming right up on Mount Olive right now. That'll be crossing 65 and 31 headed northeast. So again, this is the tornado for northern Jefferson. All right, so the next thing we want to do is go right back quickly to our Greene County storm. This is the one in northeastern Greene because everybody in Tuscaloosa has great interest in this.
We've got a new one that does include now.
Right, so the Weather Service has now issued a tornado warning that does include the city of Tuscaloosa. And let's go back to our velocity display. We have a tornado warning in effect now for parts of Tuscaloosa and Bibb counties until 5:45. And again, you can see it's ramped up again. We've got this potential tornadic circulation that is between Ralph and Foster's. This is along US 11, Interstate 5920. Tuscaloosa is in the Polygon. So we now have the city of Tuscaloosa in the Polygon. You can see the Polygon itself. This includes places like Tuscaloosa, Cottondale, Holt. This includes the University of Alabama. This includes most of Northport. It includes Coaling. It includes Brookwood. It includes Kellerman, Englewood. If you're in any of these places near the city of Tuscaloosa, you've got to be sheltered. And again, I know it's extremely inconvenient. It's 5 o'clock on a Thursday, but you've got to be sheltered, and we don't want anybody driving. The worst place you can be is a car. The worst place you can be is a mobile home. You've got to be in a shelter with a helmet on if you've got one. And again, if you know anybody in these places, help us out. Be a hero in this process. Call them and text them to let them know that they're in danger from a possible tornado. The tornadic circulation is coming up on Foster's. That's Interstate 5920. That'll be coming right up toward downtown Tuscaloosa. If we can look at our Tuscaloosa County Courthouse Sky Cam, we want to point that, Taylor, to the south and west and take a look at that. And again, we're going to go right back to North Jefferson. Understand, we're dealing with two densely populated corridors now under tornado warnings. So this is our Tuscaloosa County Courthouse camera, and what you see is what you get. I mean, I just wish I could show you more, but we're going to have a hard time doing that today. Let's zoom out. It zoomed in a little bit. We're going to pull the camera out, go as wide as we can, and it's just pouring rain. These things are rain wrapped today. You can't see them. So that's just what it looks like. So let's go back to me and the radar. So again, the call for our southernmost tornado, the city of Tuscaloosa, all of the surrounding points. We can go back to radar, please. Be sheltered. This includes Cottondale, Holt, the whole Tuscaloosa Metro, Northport. You got to be sheltered. Possible tornado at Foster's moving right up toward town, okay? That's urgent. Take it seriously. Let's go back to our northern Jefferson storm. We're going to bounce back and forth between the two. The other storm we're watching is in North Jefferson County. And again, I think that's Columbus. When I go back to Birmingham for a better look at this one, this is a little broader now. Thank goodness. We still got evidence of some debris being lofted here near Mount Olive. And again, that's going to be crossing Interstate 65 soon. So again, we have a tornado warning for northern Jefferson County. We can now give an all clear to Interstate 22. If you're along Interstate 22, you can drive. You can take off and go northwest of Birmingham. Do not go up Interstate 65 north out of Birmingham. Don't go up U.S. Highway 31 north out of Birmingham. The most urgent call here, it's going to be from Gardendale north to Kimberly. The Polygon has shrunk a little bit. Forestdale, you're now out of it. Fultondale, you're out of the Polygon. So again, Gardendale is right here. My fist is on Gardendale, Mount Olive, Morris, Kimberly, 65, 31. Possible tornado down. It's coming through Mount Olive. It's about to come through Morris and Kimberly. Then ultimately coming out here toward Massey Line and Bradford back in the northeastern part of Jefferson County. So again, if you're in northern Jefferson County, be sheltered now. Let's go back to Tuscaloosa County. We're going to do a lot of bouncing back and forth. Just hang with us. We have to split our time between two dangerous storms. Let's go back to our velocity display on this storm. Again, this is a look at what could be a potential tornado in the vicinity of Foster's. Foster's is about 10 miles southwest of downtown Tuscaloosa. Again, moving northeast, pretty much right up Interstate 5920, U.S. Highway 11, coming up into Tuscaloosa. So everybody in Tuscaloosa has got to be sheltered. Tuscaloosa, all the surrounding communities, everybody. Let's go back to our Sky Cam on top of the county courthouse. And again, you're not going to see much. It's a day like today where we wish we could show you more from these cameras that we have, but we just can't. Everything is rain-wrapped, and what you see is what we've got, a rain-wrapped tornado, if it's down, southwest of Tuscaloosa coming up on town. As the tornado approaches downtown Tuscaloosa, we'll take the camera again, but again, that's what it looks like. So back to the radar. The downtown Tuscaloosa here, okay? This is Interstate 5920. Right here. That's Interstate 359 right here. This is old US 11 right here coming up towards Stillman College. The University of Alabama is right here. Possible tornado near Foster's moving like this. It could pass a little south of downtown Tuscaloosa, but it doesn't matter. You know, I know you like to hear us calling out barns and sheds and Walmarts and barbecue joints, which is fine. But the key message in terms of what you do is based on these polygon boundaries. If you're in that polygon, you've got to stay sheltered, even if you hear us calling out a location that might be a few miles away from you. Sometimes storms are tilted, and what we see on radar is not the actual ground position of the tornado, so keep that in mind. So again, the city of Tuscaloosa is in the polygon, Northport, Cottondale, Holt, Englewood. You've got to stay sheltered. Again, that possible tornado is coming up on the southern part of the city of Tuscaloosa. And again, this is Skyland Boulevard right here. My finger's on Skyland. That's Interstate 5920 right here that parallels Skyland. This is McFarland Boulevard, US 82. Alberta City is right here. This is Holt. And again, that tornado is going to be soon crossing Highway 69. If you're down here toward Taylorville, Hillcrest High School, anybody affected by the tornado on December 16th, 2000, it might be very similar to that type track. But still, everybody in the city's got to stay sheltered. Understand that. Northport is involved in this as well. But again, that circulation is going to be crossing Highway 69 soon. Taylorville here, Englewood here, Little Sandy, Moundville is down here. And again, we'll be watching that. From there, it's going to cross Highway 82 and ultimately maybe coming out here toward Cottondale. That's kind of the track of that December 16th, 2000 tornado. I'm not saying this is the same size. I'm not. But the track could be similar to that. So that's our Tuscaloosa storm. Let's go back to North Jefferson. Again, it's going to be a day of bouncing back and forth between these storms. So this is our tornado warning for North Jefferson. And the good news, you know, it's pretty broad. Still, we don't see any evidence of debris right now. I think this thing was down for a while. It might be up now, which is great. You want them up. But we don't see any evidence of debris being lofted here, but still, we've probably got what could be a tornado in this region near Interstate 65, US 31, Mount Olive, Kimberly, Morris, north of Gardendale, moving up in the direction of Bradford, Massey Line, this northeastern part of Jefferson County, north of Pinson. Pinson, downtown Pinson has been taken out of the Polygon. The concern is now north of Pinson, north of Center Point. A lot of the areas down towards Center Point, you've been taken out of this Polygon. The concern is north of Pinson. So again, we've got the rotation now near Morris, Kimberly, Mount Olive, coming up toward Bradford, Massey Line. If that thing stays in place, it'll be affecting southern Blount County. This is Highway 75 right here, as you can see, and that goes up toward Blount County. And of course, 79 goes up toward Blount County as well. But again, 75 and 79 wouldn't want to be driving. 75 goes up to Locust Fork and ultimately Aniana. So let's go back to our Tuscaloosa County storm really quickly.
And the camera is looking pretty impressive right now.
Let's go back to our live cam. This is a severe storm that is capable of producing a tornado coming up into downtown Tuscaloosa. And again, this is on top of the Tuscaloosa County Courthouse, and it is just a driving, soaking rain falling there, but there could be a rain-wrapped tornado just southwest of the camera site. We note the power is still on. In a case like this, you often have to watch for power flashes or other evidence of a tornado. We don't see that at this point. Let's go back to the radar quickly. Again, there's your tornado that is coming up very quickly on the southern part of the city of Tuscaloosa. This is downtown Tuscaloosa. I think it's safe to say the tornado is clearly rain-wrapped, and it's going to be passing south of downtown. Again, that's Interstate 5920. This is Skyland Boulevard. This is US 82 going down to Montgomery. This is Highway 69 going toward Moundville, Shelton State, Englewood Elementary School, Taylorville, anywhere we're talking about in through here. This is where the possible tornadic circulation is. From there, it's going to be crossing over 82, then coming out here toward Cottondale and maybe toward Coaling. And again, the analog in terms of the track is December 16th, 2000, not the size of the tornado. I don't think this is some EF4 here like that was, but still, an EF0 tornado is a big deal. Ask anybody that's been in an EF0 tornado. Okay, so again, we've got on the other live box, we've got some video coming in from Highway 5. This is where a tornado likely crossed old U.S. Highway 78 near Interstate 22. And most likely we got some trees down up and through there. This is the tornado that is coming through northern Jefferson. So we're going to keep that up there for just a second. And again, that is near Interstate 22 and the old U.S. Highway 78, just north of Interstate 22 most likely. But again, this is our storm coming up into the southern part of the city of Tuscaloosa. So we've got two warnings here, northeastern Jefferson and Tuscaloosa County. And understand this is a situation where they're both dangerous storms, and you've got to be sheltered. Let's go back to our velocity display on the Tuscaloosa storm if we can.
The camera is looking very, very windy right now.
Again, this is live from downtown Tuscaloosa. Taylor, if you can pan to the south a little bit to the left on that camera. We're looking west. We want to look to the south.
I have lost control of the camera.
Okay. Let's go back to the radar. And again, this is where we're watching for the possibility of a tornado, and this would be right down Highway 69, Maxwell's Crossroads, Englewood Elementary School, Hillcrest High School, very densely populated part of the county here. And from 69, it'll be crossing over US 82, then coming out here toward Cottondale. And again, you've got to stay sheltered. This is passing a little south of downtown Tuscaloosa. But remember, if you're in this Polygon, no matter where you are, if you're in Holt, if you're in Brookwood, if you're in Coaling, if you're in Vance, if you're in Kellerman, if you're at Lakeview, you're in this Polygon as well. You've got to stay sheltered until this thing is canceled. And again, we are seeing a lot of reports coming in right now. We're going to watch this carefully. Okay, that's downtown Tuscaloosa. They're fine. The tornado's passing south of there. So let's go back to the radar. Again, that was the view coming from University Boulevard at the courthouse here. That was Greensboro Avenue at the courthouse. I'm sorry, but again, this is your possible tornado that has just crossed over Highway 69, about to cross over US 82. And again, this circulation will be soon coming out here toward Interstate 5920. Obviously, nobody should be along Interstate 5920 or any road in Tuscaloosa. We don't want anybody out here driving. This is US 11 right here. That's Interstate 5920. Again, you've got Brookwood, which is out here. Keens Mill Road. This is Coaling, Cottondale. All of these places we're calling out. All right, this is Skyland in Tuscaloosa. And again, the tornadic circulation most likely is a little south of there. But again, obviously, we don't want people out in this. I know some people just get stranded out there and it happens, but as best you can, please don't be driving in a tornado warning polygon. That is extremely dangerous. Again, downtown Tuscaloosa here, tornadic circulation. Jerusalem Heights is where the old Dreamland, the original Dreamland, sits, just south of Skyland Boulevard here. And that circulation is continuing, moving to the northeast. And again, that'll be crossing out here toward Cottondale, which is right out through here. So if you're anywhere in the southern, eastern part of the city of Tuscaloosa, you've got to stay sheltered. We can give downtown Tuscaloosa an all clear soon. Not now, but soon, okay? And again, this is not the most classic tornado signature. Hopefully, the best case scenario, there's not one there, but we don't know that. We have to assume there is one there. It's a course of least regret. You've got to do the right thing. We have had way too much loss of life on my watch in 43 years, and we don't want to lose any lives today. Like they say in mission control here, failure is not an option here. We've got to be sure that everybody is okay. So again, possible tornadic circulation south of Tuscaloosa, about to cross over Highway 82 just south of Skyland. This will likely cross Skyland out here just east of Tuscaloosa near Cottondale. Let's go back to our northeast Jefferson County storm. We're going to bounce back and forth between the two. Y'all just hang tight. We're going to go from one to the other. And again, that's Columbus. Let's go back to Birmingham for this one. And again, we've got a tornado warning that is still in effect for northeastern Jefferson. And again, that circulation is up here near Kimberly, Morris, and that will be moving up here toward Massey Line. This is Selfville. This is in Blount County. This is the Blount County line. Bradford is right here. It's pretty broad. I would say this is not a classic tornadic circulation at this point, but still it is capable of producing a tornado. So again, the possible tornado is located northeast of Gardendale, moving northeast at 50. And again, the tornado warning for northeastern Jefferson stays in effect until 5:30. That's it for the next 15 minutes. So again, 65-31, give it about 5 minutes, and we can give an all clear to I-65 and US 31. Give us 5 minutes, and we'll give you an all clear. We're giving an all clear to Interstate 22, leaving north out of Birmingham. But in about 5 minutes, we'll clear Interstate 65 and 31. In fact, I think we can do that now, Taylor. It looks like the Polygon has been cleared off Interstate 65 and US 31. So now we can give you an all clear. 65 north of Birmingham, you're good to go. 31, US 31 north of Birmingham, you're good to go. We do not want anybody driving along Highway 75. This goes up to Aniana. 79 goes up to Locust Fork. Bradford, anywhere north of Pinson. Okay, so nobody should be driving along 79 or 75 north of Pinson for this circulation. It is very broad, but it's still dangerous. So now let's go back to Tuscaloosa County. It is 514, James Spann, Taylor Sarallo working a couple of severe storms capable of producing a tornado. And again, this is our Tuscaloosa tornadic circulation, which is coming up on Cottondale. All right, so again, this is the Skyland Boulevard exit. This is Interstate 20, Hargrove Road, goes right through here. The old McFarland Mall sits right over here. That's US 82. And again, this will be crossing over through Cottondale, moving in the general direction toward Brookwood if this thing holds together. And again, you've got Woodland Forest, which is right here. Woodland Forest is a neighborhood south of Skyland with a country club and golf course there. That tornadic circulation is basically on top of Woodland Forest. And again, that'll be coming out through the Cottondale area. This is US 11. This is the Cottondale exit right here off US 11 and continuing moving up toward Brookwood. So again, if you are in Brookwood, Cottondale, Woodland Forest, any of these communities we're talking about, you've got to be sheltered. You've got to be. All right, so this is a live look from Cottondale, and it looks like that's where US 11 comes and intersects with University Boulevard. The tornadic circulation would be just to the south of that particular point, just south of there. And again, for those of you that would normally be driving, our encouragement today, please don't do that. All right, so let's go back to this. And again, we're watching southern Tuscaloosa County. And let me just say this. For downtown Tuscaloosa, we'll give you an all clear. Downtown Tuscaloosa, all clear. Downtown Northport, all clear. Campus of the University of Alabama, all clear. So if you're at the University of Alabama, if you're in downtown Tuscaloosa, downtown Northport, you can come out of your tornado safe place. We'll give you an all clear. The danger is now well to the south and east of there. The possible tornado near Woodland Forest, south of Interstate 5920, coming up toward Cottondale. And again, next in line up here would be Brookwood. It's going to be crossing Interstate 5920, US 11, Keens Mill Road, then coming out toward Brookwood. That's Alabama Highway 216 right here. And again, the signature stays pretty potent here. This has been a very potent signature, and again, we will know fairly soon if indeed we've had some damage in these areas because it's been It is a very densely populated part of Tuscaloosa County, obviously. And I have not seen any damage at this point. But that doesn't mean we could easily have some damage. Remember, the power goes out, communication goes out. We often don't see the images, the video right out of the gate here. We've had a report of a funnel cloud behind Englewood Elementary School when this crossed over Highway 69 earlier. This is coming from EMA in Tuscaloosa, but no specific damage related to that. I am hoping I can stand here in 30 minutes and say there was no damage from this. That's the best possible outcome. The whole thing was aloft, which can happen, but there could be. We have pea-sized hail falling. We should mention that. We've got very, very high core reflectivity values coming through. And again, we've got reports of pea-sized hail. This is Cottondale, by the way, east of Tuscaloosa. Pea-sized hail falling in Alberta City right now, at 21st Avenue East and 10th Street East. We've had reports of nickel-sized hail with this storm as well. And again, this is from one of the algo cameras that is in Cottondale, east of Tuscaloosa. But again, the power is on. That's the best thing we can tell you, and things look normal at that point. So let's go back to the radar. And again, what we've got here, we've got potential for a tornado that's crossing Interstate 5920 out here in the eastern part of Tuscaloosa, the old Baggett's Big B truck stop. And that'll be crossing out through Cottondale, which is right in through here. And from there, this is Highway 216, Peterson, Brookwood, right here. So from Cottondale, next in line is Brookwood. So if you're in Brookwood, those areas east of Tuscaloosa, you've got to be sheltered at this point. That is an important thing for you to do. You can't be in a mobile home. You can't be in a car. Taylor, have you got any reports of any damage? I'm looking at all my sources. I've not seen any with this so far, which is amazing to me.
I'm just getting reports from multiple sources that there is.
And by the way, on the air, we should mention this is US 78 or Alabama Highway 5 near Interstate 22. That's from the storm that is now in northeastern Jefferson.
So I've just got from two separate sources, 18-wheeler blown over on Interstate 22. Due to a possible tornado.
And that makes perfect sense. And again, the tornado signatures have really flared very quickly today. And we've seen debris signatures from time to time. And understand, we show a debris signature here, it's down. That's how good that product is. And when we've got it down, you're going to have trucks overturned. You're going to have trees down like that. So again, where we are now, we have a tornado warning for eastern Tuscaloosa County. Again, Tuscaloosa, the city of Tuscaloosa, all clear. The campus of the University of Alabama, all clear. You made it through this one. It passed south of you. The city of Northport, you're all clear. The greatest concern now is east of Tuscaloosa near Cottondale, back up to Brookwood. Cottondale, Brookwood, you stay sheltered. The eastern part of Tuscaloosa County, east of the city of Tuscaloosa. Let's go back up to northeastern Jefferson. Again, we're going to have to bounce back and forth between the two.
I think just canceled that warning.
Yeah, they did.
Warning.
Good.
Okay.
All right, so great. We're down to one warning now. So the Weather Service has canceled the warning for northeastern Jefferson. So if you are in Bradford, Massey Line, you're good. Anywhere east of Kimberly and Morris, that circulation has gone away. We are down to one tornado warning now. We have one, and it's this one. This is the one for eastern Tuscaloosa County. So we can focus on this one storm. I'll show you a big picture in just a minute. But we only have one warning in the whole state, and it's this one. This is a tornado warning for eastern Tuscaloosa County for the possibility of a tornadic circulation right here. And again, here's your tornadic circulation. It's pretty broad, but again, it could be there approaching Brookwood. The circulation has come through Cottondale. It came through Woodland Forest. It came through Englewood, and now it's approaching Brookwood. So again, for Tuscaloosa, everybody over here, you're good. The danger is over for you. They'll be shaving off that Polygon soon. The concern, it's Brookwood. That's Alabama Highway 216 right here. Fleetwood, Peterson, Brookwood. Lakeview is over here. This is Abernat. And if this thing continues, if it hangs in there, then it might wind up crossing into Jefferson again. We'll see. At the moment, it does not look that well defined on radar. But again, I'm scanning so many different sources, and we have so many live streams in the field, and we don't see any issues of damage from this in Tuscaloosa County. There could be some, but I'm not seeing any. We've got numerous trees down in northern Jefferson. We know that, and some of that could be thunderstorm winds. But again, the tornado warning for northern Jefferson has been canceled. The only warning in the whole state is this one. Let's take a look at the whole state for just a minute, or the whole region where we are, Taylor. It's just raining, just a large mass of rain over the northern half of the state. Nothing severe. It's pouring. I know there's thunder, there's lightning, and it's windy. We have pressure gradient winds, not related to storms, that have created some power outages today, but it's just raining. Anniston, Gadsden, Cullman, Jasper, Haleyville, Fayette. It's pouring rain, but notice we have one flashing polygon, and that's it, just one, and that's for the storm that is coming through eastern Tuscaloosa County. The warning has expired or been canceled for northeastern Jefferson. It's just a lot of rain here. Most of this, it is outflow dominant, which is a good thing. You want to see that. But we still have parameters that could trigger another tornado warning or two. In fact, let's look at our tornado watch very quickly. You can see that we've got the counties in yellow on this map. These are counties in a tornado watch through 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. The counties that have been cleared are Marion and Lamar. Your risk of severe weather is ended, and the Weather Service will be clearing counties from the northwest. All of this should be over by 8, 9, or 10 o'clock tonight. Which is a good thing. But for the evening hours here, it's 5:22. Just be aware that the potential will continue for a few isolated tornadoes. We're very thankful that we have this big, massive rain here. Let's go back to the radar, and this rain-cooled air will certainly help. And that keeps the instability values down, and we are thankful for that. But let's go back into our one storm right here that's producing the tornado warning in eastern Tuscaloosa County, and there's hail falling. I'll tell you that. That's a hail core right here. If you're in Brookwood, you probably have some hail falling, maybe pea-size or nickel-size. This is the hail detector, and again, you can see evidence that it's come right through Highway 216. So hail is clearly falling here. Let's go to our velocity display, which kind of tells the story of the wind. And again, we see evidence of just broad circulation here. That is not a classic tornado signature. The weather is horrible if you're in Brookwood or in Peterson or in Fleetwood or in Abernat or in East Brookwood. And you stay sheltered. Again, as long as you've got this flashing red polygon, you stay sheltered here. Again, for Tuscaloosa, you're good. Tuscaloosa, the danger is over. They're going to trim that warning soon here. The warning will probably be trimmed about right here. Cottondale, you're good. You can come out of your tornado shelter. All of Tuscaloosa, you're good. The concern now, it's for Brookwood and ultimately Abernat, and then maybe Jefferson. We'll see. Up here, you got Oak Grove. We'll just see if it hangs in there. This is coal mining country. A lot of the land out here is owned by the coal mining firms, but a lot of people do live here, especially in Brookwood. That broad circulation is near the town of Brookwood, Brookwood High School, their beautiful new school there, and that's going to be moving to the northeast. But again, right now, it looks fairly broad. And it seems like all of our damage reports are coming from northern Jefferson around Interstate 22, Taylor.
The one report I do have from Tuscaloosa County is hail, which you were just talking about. We've had hail there, but at this point, I have not seen any damage reports coming in from this Tuscaloosa County storm. And if that's the case, that is best case scenario.
That is. And I do have a report from Woodland Forest. No damage. They heard strong winds, but they're good, and that's great news. Again, that circulation went right through Woodland Forest, and no damage reported, and that's great news. And the best possible scenario is the fact that this thing has been aloft. It came through a very densely populated part of Tuscaloosa County, and again, the analog in terms of the track on this is much like the December 2000 storm, December 16, 2000. That's the position, not the intensity, but the track of that storm. But yeah, all the reports I'm seeing are pretty much from northern Jefferson, out around Interstate 22 and Alabama Highway 5 and U.S. Highway 78. Some pretty interesting video here I'll show you. Taylor, I'll let you pick it up for just a second. I'm going to show some video here in just a second that'll show what this thing looked like coming in to Tuscaloosa.
So I'll go ahead and just give the overview again. So we have that one warning that is in Tuscaloosa County. At this point, we're not seeing an indication that that rotation is, or that tornado is on the ground, but it could eventually drop a tornado. So that's why we have that tornado warning. We want you staying in that safe place. We want you to just stay hunkered down until this tornado warning is either allowed to expire or is canceled. Elsewhere in central Alabama, we have heavy rain. We've got some very strong winds, but that is our one severe warning. That we don't have any other severe thunderstorm warnings, just this one tornado warning for parts of Tuscaloosa County. I do want to take you down because we do have that report of hail, and where you're seeing the pink color here, that is likely some hail falling as well near Brookwood, just to the south of Kellerman. This will eventually be moving into Jefferson County here pretty soon. And so I'm just getting word in from the National Weather Service, because we haven't had any indication that this has been on the ground. They're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning downstream from this tornado warning as it does move into Jefferson County, which means, are you likely to see some strong winds or some hail? Yes, that's possible. But at this point, they're not planning to continue a tornado warning into Jefferson County based on this storm. So that's good news. That means that they are seeing the same trend we are, is that it's not as tight in terms of that rotation. But let's take you out and show you kind of the big picture, because what we've got going on now is they are starting to clear some counties from that tornado watch. So at this point, this is kind of that main line. Once this line of storms moves through your area, then you are done with your severe risk for the night. And for that reason, the National Weather Service is starting to drop some communities. So let's take you back to that tornado watch. Now, Lamar and Marion counties are now no longer in that tornado watch. So you are done with your severe threat for the evening. Once you get that big push of strong winds, those stronger thunderstorms, then you're done, and we're going to be turning much colder tomorrow. We've got a big cold air mass on the way.
Taylor, let's take WEXO 5 real quick. Let's talk about this real quick. This is Northside High School in Samantha, North Tuscaloosa County. And I just wanted to show, this is their football scoreboard. The school tweeted this out, and that was the tornadic circulation that came across north of Tuscaloosa. And I think we got some video from Boley Springs, from Valerie Bell. If we can roll this. This is coming from Valerie. And again, this is in southern Fayette County. This is the same storm that produced the damage. And again, our old computer back, I'll get mine to make the thing play here. I tell you what, let's go back to WEXO 5. I can play it on mine. It'll look good in here. This is a little minor damage in Tuscaloosa. This is pressure gradient wind. But this is what it looked like coming into Tuscaloosa County, Taylor, from Hulls. Looking back down toward Highway 69, down toward Englewood. You see the wall cloud. Mm-hmm. And this thing was spinning like a top. And I think we're very fortunate that this thing did not, to my knowledge, at this point, produce a tornado. I mean, it went through such a densely populated area. I think we'd know by now that if this thing did indeed produce a tornado, and again, this is coming from near the Tuscaloosa-Hale County line, looking back toward Englewood and Hillcrest High School. And again, you can see a wall cloud there, which is very well defined, but again, not seeing any evidence at this point of a tornado. So Taylor, back to you, and I'll get to Valerie's video here in just a second.
Okay, and what I wanted to show now is that we now have that new severe thunderstorm warning, and it does include the Birmingham Metro. It includes Hueytown, Bessemer, Hoover, Pelham, and that's because we could see winds over 60 miles per hour, and then also some hail from this supercell storm here that's been holding together. At this point, they're not expecting to extend the tornado warning, but understand that straight line winds can do damage as well. You know, some of those pictures that James is showing you is damage because of those straight line winds. But we are also looking at the possibility of some hail. So if you live in Hueytown, Bessemer, the winds are going to start to pick up. You're going to start to get some hail. And we now also have a green box that just popped on there, and that is a flood advisory. That's going to last through 8:30 p.m. and that's just because you've got a lot of heavy rain. This system was moving right over Tuscaloosa, now over Brookwood, and the rainfall rates with this are just very high. So a flood advisory means we could have some minor flooding. Want to take us down and look at the velocity here, because there is still a tornado warning for parts of Tuscaloosa County, including Brookwood, Kellerman, and Lakeview, but let's see here what this velocity is looking like. Once again, the velocity not showing a super strong indication of a tornado at this point. Strong winds, absolutely. Really heavy rain, absolutely. Probably a lot of thunder as well. But at this point, you're still in that polygon. Stay in the safe place. But I can confidently tell you that this, at least at this moment, doesn't look to me to be a very, very strong signature of a tornado.
Let's take WEXO 5 again real quick. This is going to be some of the damage caused by the storm in Boley Springs. This is in Fayette County, and this is coming from Valerie Bell. And again, we saw a very well-defined TDS, Taylor, on this one when this came through Boley Springs. And they were hit hard April 27, 2011, and again, they've been hit hard today. We've heard of no injuries from this. The Weather Service will send survey teams in here tomorrow to take a look at it. But again, that's Boley Springs and the far eastern part of Fayette County, well to the east of the city of Fayette. And thanks to Valerie for her work out in the field today and getting that video to us. So let's go back to the radar very quickly. We're at 5:31. And as Taylor has talked about, we don't have any evidence of a tornado now in eastern Tuscaloosa County. I know you're still seeing the flashing red, but there is absolutely no evidence of a tornado here. And the Weather Service has replaced the tornado warning with a severe thunderstorm warning for the Birmingham Metro. So there is no tornado warning for the Birmingham Metro. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. But listen, to be severe, understand the definition. You have to have 1-inch diameter hail or larger, or 58 mile per hour winds or greater. That's a pretty impactful storm. And the Weather Service believes that that storm coming out of Tuscaloosa County could produce impacts like that through the Birmingham Metro. So you can see downtown Birmingham, Hoover, Bessemer, Hueytown, Pleasant Grove, Oak Grove, Pelham, Chelsea. All of these communities are in this severe thunderstorm warning polygon, not a tornado warning polygon. This will be a broader area with impact. You'll have tremendous amounts of rain. There could be some flooding. You'll see some hail. We've had some pretty large hail in this storm coming out of Tuscaloosa County. And on top of that, there could be some strong wind gusts, maybe gusting to 50 miles an hour. But understand, on a day like today, we have very strong pressure gradient winds away from storms that have been gusting to 40, 45 miles an hour. So it's been a windy day one way or the other, but this will just enhance the winds. So again, a lot of folks have been trying to get home, and I know it's been a tough day today for driving, but it is what it is. I think people have made good decisions. We've had no injuries today. It's 5:32, and again, just be aware that this, in fact, let's expand it out a little bit, Taylor, so we can see that the cluster of storms in Tuscaloosa County. It's this stuff right here. Brookwood, Lakeview, Abernat, that's crossing over into Jefferson. It's just pouring rain. Hueytown, Pleasant Grove, Oak Grove. I mean, it is just absolutely pouring here. Thunder, lightning, and the winds are gusty, and all of that mess is going to come right through the Birmingham Metro. And again, that's the reason for this severe thunderstorm warning. And I think the reason the Weather Service issued the severe thunderstorm warning, it's based on the history that the storm has had. It has produced some damage. We've had rotation from time to time with this. We have no evidence of any rotation now. And again, we stress there is no tornado warning here. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for the Birmingham Metro. So, Taylor, it looks like once we get rid of that tornado warning polygon, that'll be it, at least for the moment.
Yeah, and it's set to expire here in about 11 and a half minutes. So it's set to expire at 5:45. So they're going to just let that run its course. And we'll continue to monitor it for any tightening up. But the conditions have been improving with this system, or at least this storm in particular. It's been looking more well behaved in terms of the rotation. Now, understand there's still going to be some very strong winds. It's going to be loud when this moves through. Going to have hail. And look at all that lightning. We got a lot of lightning with this as well. So you're hearing a lot of thunder. But for the time being, I'm not seeing really strong indications of rotation with this. What I am starting to see, though, is some more of these flood advisories pop up. So we are seeing quite a bit of rain pretty quickly. So we've got a flood advisory for parts of Tuscaloosa County. We've also got a big flood advisory box here that runs from northern Pickens, southern Lamar, across Fayette, Walker, northern Jefferson, into Blount County as well. So that's going to be this box here. And a flood advisory means that some minor flooding is possible, some ponding on the roads, some of the low-lying areas, some creeks, streams, things like that. So do I expect this to have a major flooding problem? No, but there could be some minor flooding issues. So just keep that in mind. I know it is 5:30. A lot of folks are probably either headed home from work or you're going out to run errands or whatever you're doing this time of the evening. And there could be some obviously ponding on the roads just because we're seeing so much heavy rain right now at this point. And as you look at central Alabama, notice the one storm that's producing quite a bit of lightning. It is this one storm here that's moving from Tuscaloosa now into Jefferson County. But that's that one storm that we had that severe thunderstorm warning on. And this is, from my understanding, the only two warnings in the state, which this tornado warning we do expect to be allowed to expire. And then we've got that one severe thunderstorm warning now that stretches from Fultondale through Birmingham to Vestavia Hills to Hoover to Pelham. So right along I-65. Along I-20, we've got Bessemer to Birmingham, over towards Trussville. Trussville, you're not in the severe thunderstorm warning, but you're going to get some stronger winds as well. It's mainly this area right here where we've got the bright pinks, the bright reds. That's where we've got the possibility of hail, those gusty winds. And that's about it for right now. I mean, we could see the possibility of some of these re-strengthening, but they're not in a super favorable environment. As these storms head eastward, the overall threat for tornadoes is going to go down, which is a good thing. So as we move later into the evening, we'll still watch for the possibility of some straight line winds, but the overall tornado threat will start to diminish as we move into the next few hours or so and these storms move on a more eastward track. I also expect that once This line right here is through your area. You're going to be dropped from that tornado watch. We've already seen that happen for Lamar County, Marion County, Winston County. You're likely to be next dropped from that tornado watch. And then as this moves farther eastward, we're going to see that trend continue for the rest of our area. But at this point, it's this one storm out ahead of that line where we've got the energy there.
Let's take our live shot if we can, Taylor. This is coming from Interstate 22. Stephen Quinn and Bill Castle are there. And again, I will tell you that Stephen has reported to me that multiple tractor trailers have been overturned along Interstate 22 between exits 81 and 85 due to the tornado-warned storm with the high winds that crossed through Jefferson and Walker County. And again, this is just another reason why we say, please don't drive in a tornado warning polygon. And again, I know sometimes you're just in it and you can't help it, but this is multiple tractor trailers overturned along Interstate 22. This is northwest of Birmingham. Exits 81 to 85 because of the storm that came through. Whether this was a small tornado or something else at this point, we just don't know. And if we can, want to go to WEXO 5 really quickly, just show some of the images that have been coming in, not in any particular order. This is Brookwood, and as you know, during thunderstorms, those tramps become the state bird of Alabama. Now, those things have been flying around today. Just some very minor damage. This is Forest Lake in Tuscaloosa, and goodness, if that's all you're getting, we're blessed. I mean, we all know that. Of course, there's been more significant damage that we've had today. Tell you what, that was my fault. I pressed the wrong. Sometimes you press the wrong button. But I want to show us a little bit more of the damage here. Let's take a look at this. This, again, is some of the video from the storm coming up through the southern part of Tuscaloosa. This was down Highway 69, down below Inglewood. And there was a tornado warning in effect at the time. And again, there was clearly a rotating wall cloud involved with this, but we've seen no evidence of a tornado down through there. And that's a really good thing because that is a very densely populated corridor. Again, this is more video coming from down Highway 69 south of Tuscaloosa earlier this afternoon. This is some of the hail that's been falling. A lot of people have been reporting that sized hail, nickel-sized hail with these storms today. And again, you can see some more damage. This is coming from Graysville. These tramps have not been doing very well with these strong winds today. And again, that's another shot of what it looked like down Highway 69 in Tuscaloosa County earlier. So let's go back up to the radar. And I want to zoom into our Jefferson County storm here. And let's talk about, I want to look at the velocity of this as it approaches some of the southern suburbs of Birmingham, especially right in through here. We're kind of watching this. It's broad. We have no tornado warning, but this thing is trying to spin up again. But again, for now, it is a severe thunderstorm warning for the Birmingham Metro. This would include downtown Birmingham, the over-the-mountain communities, Vestavia, Mountain Brook, Hoover, Homewood. It includes Bessemer, Hueytown, Pleasant Grove. It includes Bessemer, McCalla, Pelham, Chelsea, Inverness. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning. So let's go back to our reflectivity. And the one thing we're clearly going to have is tremendous amounts of rain with this. We might see some flooding issues from this. And again, there's probably some small hail falling in through here as well. And again, that's going to be coming right across the southern part of the Birmingham Metro. Downtown Birmingham is here. Downtown Birmingham will see some heavy rain as well, but the heavier part of this will be passing just to the south of Birmingham. And we now have a tornado warning for Jefferson and Shelby, and that's the reason we have the EAS tones on our watches here. So the Weather Service in Birmingham has opted to issue a tornado warning now for Jefferson County. This will be, we'll put the polygon on here in just a second, and here it is. This is our tornado warning polygon. So this is the new tornado warning in effect for the Birmingham Metro for the possibility of a tornado in through here. And this is going to include downtown Birmingham and points south down into the southern part of the city of Hoover. This will include River Chase, Hoover, Vestavia, Mountain Brook, Homewood, Bessemer, McCalla, downtown Birmingham. This will include the 280 corridor from downtown Birmingham down to Chelsea. So again, and this goes all the way out to Leeds and Trussville and Donovan in Shelby County. So again, let's focus in right there, Taylor. This is a new tornado warning. And again, a lot of you just got your EAS tones or your WIA tones on your phone or your watch. It's fairly broad, but I think the Weather Service understands that because of the population density here, it might be best based on the look, the reflectivity look, to go ahead and post a tornado warning for the southern part of the Birmingham metro. And again, the best location of the circulation is near the intersection of 459 and 5920. This is just southwest of Bessemer, not too far from McCalla, right in through here. And again, the circulation is going to be moving like that. And of course, on that track, that's going to take it awfully close to places like McAdory and Bessemer and the Oxmoor Valley and Shannon. And again, you're going to see a lot of communities on here. There are just thousands of dots because of the thousands of neighborhoods across the Birmingham metro. But again, this is very inconvenient. I know that. It's 5:41. It's a weekday. A lot of people are trying to get home. But the right thing to do is, if you're in this polygon, go to a safe place. And I want to stress again today, all of the circulations have been wrapped in rain. You can't see them. The temptation, if you're in these locations here in the Birmingham metro, you want to go out and look out the window. You can't see anything. We can't see anything off these cameras. It's just all wrapped in rain. And that's a waste of time. The best time spent is getting into a safe place. And again, if you're in any of these places in the Birmingham metro we're showing you here, you want to be in a small room, lowest floor. And by small room, that's hall, closet, bathroom. You don't have to be underground. Lowest floor, near the center of the house. As many walls between you and the tornado as you can get and away from windows. Wear a helmet. Wear a helmet. A bicycle helmet is great. A cheap bicycle helmet will mitigate critical injury and loss of life in so many cases. A batting helmet, a motorcycle helmet, and this is not just for kids, this is for adults. And if you are watching this, and if you know anybody in any of these places, and there's a lot of people here, hundreds of thousands of people, the most densely populated part of Alabama, you might want to call them or text them. They might not be watching. A lot of people go home and they watch, streaming stuff, and they don't watch, they don't pay attention, and that's fine. I'm not criticizing people. We're all busy. Not everybody's a weather dweeb, but you've got to let them know. You can help us to tell them to watch. So again, the tornado warning polygon includes Bessemer, McAdory, Shannon, the Oxmoor Valley, Midfield. It does not include Hueytown or Pleasant Grove. You're north of this. This also includes, obviously, Hoover, Vestavia Hills, Homewood, downtown Birmingham. It includes the US 280 corridor, Mountain Brook, the Colonnade, Inverness. It includes Liberty Park. It includes areas all the way out to Donovan in Shelby County, all the way down to Chelsea. So if you are in this polygon, you need to respect the polygon and get to a safe place. Again, this is coming from the Sky Cam that is at Galleria Tower in Hoover. And again, I will tell you that we can show you a lot of these Sky Cams, but today everything is just rain wrapped. You can't see that much. I wish I could show you something. And we know that research shows that people will they will take action more quickly if they can see a tornado. But this is Alabama. This is not Nebraska. This is not Oklahoma. It's different here, where our tornadoes are so often rain wrapped. We have these HP supercells, heavy precipitation. You can't see anything. We'll try, but we just can't do that. So the advice here is that if you are in this polygon, just be in a safe place. And again, the hardest part of this is the fact that we're asking people not to drive. Goodness gracious, it's 5:44 on a weekday. Imagine how many people right now would normally be on US 280 and on Interstate 65. And they're probably out there now. And if you're listening to me by radio, we're on our Summit Media partners, WZZK, KISS, all their family of stations. And if you're in a car, what I'm going to ask you to do is to stop at the next exit or the next available place to stop, whether it's a convenience store, a fast food restaurant, gas station, anywhere. Any place offers better protection than a car. You don't want to be in a car. And if you've got a loved one that's driving home from work or a friend that might be, just not paying attention to the weather today, call them and let them know that they don't need to be driving. And again, 65, 459, 280. 5920, all of these major thoroughfares in the Birmingham metro are in this tornado warning polygon. And I will say the tornado warning signature is not a classic. It's not. Having said that, the Weather Service believes, and we don't issue the warnings, they do, that there's enough danger here to warrant this warning being issued for the Birmingham metro. And this is the only warning we have in the entire state. I know that for some of you it's raining, you've got thunder, lightning, but that's the deal. So let's take me full screen for just a second. I know that a lot of people gripe. Everybody likes to gripe, but they can't see the radar when we're doing double boxes. We'll try and do a little bit of everything today. We're trying to make everybody happy, which we will never do, but we'll do our best. It's pouring rain out here. The other concern is flooding. I wouldn't be shocked if we had some flooding going on now in small hail, Bessemer, Midfield, McAdory, right down the 2059 corridor, the Bessemer Superhighway. It's just a quagmire out here. And again, we've seen from time to time evidence back here in the southwestern flank of this of a possible tornado, and that's the reason for this tornado warning. But there could be some flooding issues as well. So let's go back to our velocity display coming off the Birmingham radar, which is close. Get a good low-level sample of this coming from the Shelby County Airport. And it really is broad. This is not your classic tornado signature. You want to see it looking tighter. We don't have any debris being lofted. Most likely it's not down right now. But again, based on the history of this thing, the Weather Service believes there's enough danger to prompt this tornado warning. So that's the situation. And as we will give you an all clear as we can. As this thing is moving along quickly, the storm is moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. No stoplights in the weather business. It just keeps on trucking. So it's going to move through here very quickly. But again, that broad circulation is near McAdory and Bessemer. Next, it'll be coming out here across the Oxmoor Valley. And again, this, just to get your bearing straight, that's Interstate 459 right here. That's Alabama Highway 150 that goes from Hoover back to Bessemer. This is 459. The broad circulation is just north of Interstate 459 coming through Bessemer right now. And again, Taylor is highlighting Interstate 459 on for those that are watching on the television side. But this circulation is going to come through Bessemer, then come out across the Oxmoor Valley, the community of Shannon. Then come out in the western part of Hoover, maybe around Ross Bridge, that area. Then coming up on top of Shades Mountain, maybe around Bluff Park. Then coming through parts of Hoover and Vestavia, then ultimately Mountain Brook, if there's something down here. And again, I don't know that right now. I can't tell you there's a tornado down for sure. I wish I could. I hope there's not a tornado down. But again, everybody's got to respect the Polygon and be in a safe place until this thing is canceled. And again, we are all cognizant of the high impact a tornado warning in a metro area will bring to facilities like hospitals, where you have to go through the tornado safe plan. It is a big pain. We understand that, and the Weather Service doesn't take it lightly. They don't want to issue false warnings. They don't want to do that. Reducing false alarms is a big priority in the weather business. But again, at the moment, the circulation is broad. Any news from you, Taylor, on your end over there? I'm not seeing any reports of damage. And again, this is a very populated part of the world here.
I have not seen anything so far. I have not seen any evidence either. I've been monitoring correlation coefficient on some of my other radar products over here. Haven't seen anything showing up from that. I mean, I understand, like you said, it's a very populated area. It's not looking like a classic tornado signature. And I've been going through Twitter. I've been going through some of our different chat rooms. I've been going through all different kinds of stuff, and I'm really not seeing at this point, and if this continues to be this way, that is the best news ever, that we haven't had any damage from this, and that's how we hope this stays. But I'm getting reports of heavy rain. I've seen some strong winds, things like that, which is to be expected. We do have a pretty good signature of at least some heavy rain and some hail. And what you're taking a look at right now is this is our Alabama power camera, and you should be looking back down towards the Vulcan statue. So we're looking over downtown Birmingham here. Can't see much of anything just because it's raining so much. So let's take a look here at the reflectivity. So this is what we're looking at. Really, really heavy rain from Bessemer to Midfield over towards Homewood, Vestavia Hills, down towards Shannon, Hickory Grove, where we've got this pink. I wouldn't be surprised if there is some hail falling here as well. That's where we have the indication of some lightning strikes, so a lot of loud thunder from there. But as you move down I-20, we keep the possibility of that heavy rain from Eastern Valley over towards Bucksville. And this is going to keep moving northeastward at this point. When I keep putting on this the velocity, we're looking at the reflectivity there. I haven't seen anything too concerning. Maybe trying to rotate a little bit down here, every time I try to circle it, these storms are moving so fast, and I just got to say that every time I'm trying to circle something, it's already moving because these are moving at 60 miles per hour. They're moving so quickly. That is highway speeds. That's what you drive down I-65 at 65 miles per hour, and we are looking at right now not a super strong indication of any rotation. All of the damage reports that I am getting in are from some of those storms that we had a confirmed TDS with, or we were able to pick out on the correlation coefficient where we had seen some of that
and again, for those that are just joining us here, it's 5:51. I'm James Spann with Taylor Sarallo. and we are in the process of watching a severe storm with potential for a tornado coming through the Birmingham metro. And Taylor is circling this hook echo that's south of Interstate 5920. Again, there's a hook, but there's not really a velocity signature that corresponds with that. And again, that's to be watched. This is to be watched. Everything in here is to be watched carefully. But at the moment, we're just not seeing really dynamic evidence of a tornado. But still, you know what I'm going to say. We've been saying this all day. If you are in one of these polygons, you've got to stay sheltered. I know it's a pain. I mean, you might be in a closet with a dog that's got gas and you know, kids that are crying or whatever, but you've got to stay in there because at any moment a tornado could fall out of this thing, and it's better to be safe than sorry. We always talk about a course of least regret, and that's the right course of action on a day like today. So again, we have tremendous amounts of rain falling. The Oxmoor Valley and Bessemer coming out toward the 65 corridor. No strong evidence of a tornado here. Again, we're watching this little hook back here south of Interstate 459, but there's no strong evidence on velocity here. Let's take that Galleria Sky Cam tower cam real quick. And again, we're looking right back into this from the top of the River Chase Galleria. And again, just the lightning is almost nonstop. And again, if there was anything in this, it's going to be rain wrapped. It's a day where I just cannot show you these things on camera. All these, you know, chasers come down here and they get flustered. They look like me. They pull their hair out. You go to Kansas and Nebraska and Oklahoma, it's easy to get them on camera. Here, it's a booger because you just can't see them. It's a different world here. But again, we'll keep an eye on that camera carefully. So we'll go back to the radar. And again, if you're just joining us here, I know we typically be in newscasts. We've been in weather coverage for quite a while. We've got a severe storm coming through the Birmingham metro right now with broad rotation, very broad. I can't show you a specific spot on that map where there might be a tornado because there's probably not one right now. This storm has been cyclic. It has produced damage in other parts of the state in West Alabama. And as this came up into the southwest part of the Birmingham metro, the Weather Service believed the right thing to do was to issue a tornado warning based on what they see. At the moment, I can't show you a specific tornado here. It's broad. There's a lot of wind, yes. A lot of rain, yes. Some hail, absolutely. But again, at the moment, I can't call out a Walmart, a barbecue joint, anything, because it's just very broad. But just be aware that this could produce, it's capable of producing a tornado as it comes through the southern part of the Birmingham metro. And the Polygon includes downtown Birmingham, south down I-65 down to River Chase, where we are here in Hoover at the station. It includes Highway 280 from downtown Birmingham, the Red Mountain Expressway all the way to Chelsea. It includes areas as far east in Shelby County is Donovan, Vandiver, Sterrett. It includes Leeds. It includes Trussville. But again, it's broad. A lot of days I can show you really, really carefully and closely where a tornado is located. But again, based on this radar, we just can't do that today. And the best possible scenario is if we come along here and the Weather Service just decides it's okay. And we have so many people that are involved in this. I mean, thousands and thousands of people in this. If there's anything going on, we would know right away. The tweeter and the face bag and everything would light up like a Christmas tree, and it's relatively quiet right now. People are reporting hail. There's been some minor wind damage. The biggest issue is not with this storm, but an earlier storm up Interstate 22. Multiple 18-wheelers have been overturned. There was at least one minor injury up in that region. We're aware of that. Our Stephen Quinn and Bill Castle, they're up there. And again, as soon as this settles down, we'll go back to them for a live report on that situation. But that was earlier today. That storm is weakened. And real quick, Taylor, let's just look at a big picture. Just show the whole market here. And I want to show that for most of you, it's just a lot of rain here. And this is it, by the way. Once this passes, the risk of severe weather is ended. The risk of severe weather is over for Marion, for Fayette County, for much of Pickens County. And again, once this line passes, that's it. This will not be some all-night event. And the only warning, there's only one, and it's the one for the Birmingham metro, the southern part of the metro. If you're in Anniston, Gadsden, Cullman, Clanton, Jasper, Tuscaloosa, you've got thunder, lightning, it's windy, it's raining, the weather's not good, but that is the only warning that we have. And the Weather Service is going to choose to continue it for a little longer. So let's go back tight on the circulation. This thing is moving northeast at 60 miles an hour, by the way, the individual elements of the storm. So if by chance there's a tornado there, it's moving at 60 miles an hour. And the air is more stable to the east, and most likely this will weaken with time. But just pouring rain, just absolutely pouring rain across the southern part of the Birmingham metro. And back here in the back, we're just watching potential for signs of any strong winds or a tornado. We can't really see that on radar, but from time to time, we'll see an inflow notch, we'll see a hook, we'll see some type of pattern in reflectivity, but it has not been confirmed by damage reports that we're seeing here, which is a good thing. We hope we get through this whole thing without any more damage reports. We've had damage today in parts of Fayette County, parts of northern Jefferson County. We've had parts of West Alabama with damage. But to my knowledge, we've had no injuries today, except, I take it back, minor injuries on Interstate 22 with those overturned 18-wheelers, but no major injuries and no loss of life. And that's the goal of every time we get on the air and we do this. So far, so good. We're coming up on 6 o'clock. And again, it's just pouring. I mean, we could easily see some flooding here from downtown Birmingham south down toward Vestavia, Homewood, Mountain Brook, Hoover, Cahaba Heights, Shannon, the Oxmoor Valley, Bessemer, McCalla. I mean, it is just coming down. I mean, it is coming down like a cow peeing on a flat rock, as we say out in the country, Taylor. You're a city person. I'm a country person. I can't help it. But we might have some flooding issues. And again, let's look at our velocity. And I just don't see it at this point. So that's reflectivity. We'll change back to velocity. And we've got evidence of strong winds, yes, but tornado, we'll watch in through here. We've got to keep watching the southwestern flank of this right in through here, but that's more representative of strong straight line winds as opposed to a tornado. But again, until this goes away, you need to be sheltered. And I know it's not a convenient thing to do, but please stay sheltered until this is over. I promise we'll let you know the minute you're clear and you can go back about your business. And a lot of people want to do that. It's a busy Thursday evening. And as soon as we'll have an all clear, we'll give that to you. But again, no part of the Polygon has been cleared yet. And again, this is for southern Jefferson and northern Shelby. And in terms of the boundary of the Polygon, the southern boundary is Calcis. That's along Highway 25, not too far from Vincent. On 280, around Forest Lakes, not too far from Chelsea. On US 31, down around River Chase, where we are here at the TV station. And then back down toward Cherokee Beach, which is in the far western part of Helena. That's the southern boundary. The northern boundary is basically Interstate 5920 in downtown Birmingham. But the greatest concern for rotation is down here near Interstate 459, coming up toward Pelham, southern part of Hoover. And again, we're watching with great interest. It is windy, it is torrential, but so far we have not seen any significant damage at this point, and we hope it stays that way. But again, better to be safe than sorry. We've had tragic loss of life here in the state within the last few weeks. We had the loss of life in Sawyerville a few weeks ago with critical injuries. We just don't want that to happen today, and so far that has not been the case. Taylor, any news on your end over there? Things look quiet here.
Quiet over here as well. I'm still getting reports in from some of those other storms that we were tracking. I'm getting more and more pictures of some trees down, minor trees down here and there. Also, a lot of folks just saying that the winds are strong, and that's to be expected with this. At least, at the very least, it's a severe thunderstorm, producing winds up to 60 miles per hour, likely in some locations. We have that tornado warning, but at this point, like James keeps telling you, we aren't necessarily able to pick out an exact spot where we would say, hey, this looks like where there could be a tornado at this point. Right now, it's mainly just broad rotation, some very strong winds, some very heavy rainfall, and also probably some small hail in some locations. I did want to take you and show you the tornado watch because we do have some counties that have been removed from that watch. As James mentioned, when this line keeps moving through, we're going to have more and more counties removed from that. So at this point, Marion, Winston, Lamar, Fayette, you are done with the tornado watch. You are done with that severe threat. So you are good to go in terms of the weather through the rest of this evening. You're done with the worst of it, and it's just going to start to get colder here overnight and into tomorrow. You're going to really notice that tomorrow. For the rest of us, if you are in one of these yellow counties, we are going to still monitor the weather. I do expect them to keep trimming down some of these counties. Pickens County, you're probably next, then Walker, Coleman. As this system keeps moving towards the southeast, we'll have more and more counties trimmed away from this. And it does look like this is going to be one of those nights where things are moving pretty quickly, which is good. So I don't expect this to be one of those nights where we have to stay up super late waiting for the bad weather to be over. Hopefully we'll get this out of here within the next couple of hours, and then you'll be able to go to bed at a normal time because we will be done with that severe threat. So fingers crossed that this line keeps moving at a pretty good clip towards the east. For now, we've got that one severe thunderstorm warning and then that tornado warning. So we'll take you down to that. Getting more reports in, but those are from northern Jefferson County. And at this point, on the reflectivity, does this look kind of suspect? Yes, but when we look at the velocity, I haven't seen anything too concerning with this. At times, you can see this there's a little bit of a notch here, but right now, I don't see any immediate confirmation of a tornado. But raining heavily from Bessemer to Hoover over towards Acton, Irondale, Leeds, Trussville, you are seeing some of that really heavy rain. You are also still in that Polygon, so stay in that safe place until this warning is either canceled or is allowed to expire. I think, was this set to go through 6:30, I think is when this is.
Yeah,
yes.
And again, Taylor, I don't think they're going to extend this. And I will say that almost all the reports, I spent a few minutes here while Taylor was talking, looking at reports on the tweeter and everything. Most people are reporting winds in the 30, 40 mile per hour bracket here, which is really under severe limits. It's bad. I mean, 40 mile per hour wind gust is bad. But again, it's not at severe limits. And again, like Taylor talked about, there's just no evidence of a tornado here. Wind, yes. Rain, absolutely. Just pouring rain in through here. But again, the evidence of a tornado is just not there. But still, as long as the Weather Service keeps that Polygon up, we ask that you stay sheltered, and we're going to stay with you until the warning goes away, until all the warnings go away. We've been here for a few hours. And again, we've got a lot of folks with live video of damage, and as soon as we finish our weather coverage, we will go to them so you can see what's happened in other parts of the state today. The biggest issue I've seen so far involves damage up at Boley Springs in Fayette County, and the large 18-wheelers overturned on Interstate 22 from that same parent storm. But again, if you're just joining us, we are here because Jefferson County and southern Jefferson, northern Shelby counties under a tornado warning. In the Polygon you see defined here, and the warning is set to expire at 6:30. And so far, we have had no reports of any damage. And again, I'm watching the social media feeds very carefully, and it's great that everybody is responding. And thanks to everybody for the helmet pictures, and people are listening and they're responding, which is great. And we are thankful that you're doing that, and I know it's not easy, but thank you for going to the trouble of that. That's the right thing to do. Hopefully in a matter of minutes we can give an all clear from this thing. But again, as long as that tornado warning Polygon is there, we've got to stay with this. We'll try and join the Brenda and Muriel here as soon as we can. Let's go back to our velocity. And again, the velocity really tells the story. The lightning has come down, by the way, with this. And again, you can see just very, very broad rotation. This is more of a signature of just strong winds of 35, 40 miles an hour. And that's what we're hearing from people that are out in this, winds of 35, 40 miles an hour. And really, so far, nothing beyond that. We've heard of no significant damage other than some downed trees. And we've got some photographs I'll show in a minute. But no major structural damage, no tornado damage, and no evidence of a tornado at this point. But again, the warning remains in place for southern Jefferson, northern Shelby, until 6:30. And again, hopefully based on the lack of damage reports and this type of radar signature, the Weather Service will let this thing be canceled here soon. And I do think while we've got a second, let's go to some images on WEX 05 very quickly, just to show you what it looks like in the real world today. This is along Interstate 22. There's been a lot of issues along 22 earlier from a storm earlier today. This is probably the most significant damage I've seen. That's a tree blown into a house in Utah. That's down in Greene County. And I think this was not because of thunderstorms. This was because of pressure gradient winds. Not related to storms, but that's very significant damage there. And again, a lot of scenes like this across the Birmingham metro, these big tree limbs coming down with these stronger wind gusts. But in terms of major structural damage, I just haven't seen any of that, which is great. And the same thing when this came through Tuscaloosa County. Tuscaloosa County had the same issue. We went through a tornado warning there, and so far no damage. A lot of hail. And we love that when you put an object of known size in a photograph with hail so we can see how large the hail is. That was taken earlier today, and that's some of the hailstones that have been falling around here. And again, the trampolines have not had a good day. But again, this is some of the video coming earlier with this rotating storm, a wall cloud there. But again, no evidence of a funnel cloud or a tornado at this point. So let's go back to the radar. Again, it is now 6:05. I'm James Spann with Taylor Sarallo. We typically be in news at this moment. We're in weather because of this tornado warning for the southern part of the Birmingham metro. And let me just say, if you're in downtown Birmingham, the risk is over for you from a tornado. If you're in downtown Birmingham, north of Red Mountain, let me make it more specific, you're good. You have no danger from a tornado here. If you're south of Red Mountain, yes, stay sheltered. But we've got evidence of stronger winds, maybe some broad rotation coming up on US 280. This is the summit right here. This is the colonnade right here. That's 459, that's US Highway 280. And again, you've got Inverness here, Grandview Medical Center here. In fact, let's go look at our Grandview camera real quick if we can. I think we have a shot coming from the top of Grandview on US 280.
I can't move it, but we have the shot
Right.
live.
So if we can take our Sky Cam network, please. And that's what it looks like. That is looking south down toward Inverness and Greystone. And again, it's just pouring rain. And the good news, the lights are all on. And again, that is from high atop Grandview Medical Center on US 280 looking south. And we are thankful. I'll tell you one thing, Taylor, I think we've cleared out that traffic. At this hour of the day, it would be non-stop traffic down there. If there's any good thing, we've cleared it out. And again, I know for a lot of folks, they've had to stay at work, and we're thankful that you did that. We really are. That's important that you made that decision to stay at work. And the minute we'll give you an all clear, we can do that. In fact, let me just start giving some all clears. If you are west of I-65, we'll declare an all clear here. West of I-65 or points west. That would be Bessemer, Midfield, Fairfield, the western part of Hoover, Shannon, the Oxmoor Valley, Ross Bridge. Anywhere west of I-65 will give you an all clear. East of I-65, the tornado warning continues in effect. And again, for downtown Birmingham, if you're north of Red Mountain, downtown Birmingham, the central downtown Birmingham area will give you an all clear. The concern is this mess right down here, down Highway 280. And again, this is the summit right here. This is the colonnade. That broad rotation is crossing Highway 280, coming over into places like Brook Highland. This is Liberty Park, just off Interstate 459. And again, you've got Dunavant here. This is Alabama Highway 25. But we're just still not seeing any really tight circulation. But the warning remains in effect. And sometimes that's the right thing to do. When you've got a very densely populated part of the world, and the storm has had a history of producing some damage, the Weather Service just believed it was the right thing to do. So again, the tornado warning continues in effect until 6:30 for the southeastern part of the Birmingham Metro for this broad circulation that is now basically east of US Highway 280. And that is kind of hugging the Jefferson-Shelby County line. Again, Liberty Park is right here. And this will be coming up in the general direction of Leeds, which is right here. Dunavant, that's Alabama Highway 25. So we're just going to watch that. And again, I will say the circulation is a little tighter now than it was a few minutes ago. And that's the way it works here. These things tighten up and they loosen up. But again, let me stress, if you are along or west of I-65, the danger has ended. Notice how the polygon has been shrinking. Now it's much, much smaller. And again, the circulation is now just east of 280. And again, it's up here on the ridge, Missionary Ridge, Brook Highland. And again, that'll be coming just down here right below Liberty Park, moving up in the general direction of Leeds. The Bass Pro Shop is located right here. You've got the outlet mall that's right here, the shops at Grand River. And again, that circulation is coming up this way. It's a little tighter than it was about 5 minutes ago. So again, I think based on that signature, the Weather Service will leave it in. So most likely we are going to be here until 6:30. And we hope we can show you Wheel of Fortune at 6:30, because if we don't, people get really mad, but that's okay. And you can't hurt my feelings, Taylor, because why?
You have no feelings.
No feelings left to hurt. All right, so 6:09, this is the only warning in the whole state. The only warning in the whole state. In a moment, we're going to show you the whole northern half of the state. But the reason we're here is the possibility of a tornado that is located now east of US Highway 280. We can give an all clear to the 280 corridor. If you are along or east of US Highway 280, we'll give you an all clear. You can go back to traveling along US Highway 280. So again, 280 or points west, all clear. The concern is east of Highway 280. Again, for the possibility of what could be rotation right now. It's going to be coming out here around the Lake Purdy Dam, around the Birmingham Waterworks facility out here. And that'll be coming right down here, be crossing over Grants Mill Road, then coming right up toward the Bass Pro Shops in Leeds. This is a storm that has shown evidence of a tighter rotation here in the last 5 minutes or so. And with that being the case, the advice is to certainly consider being in a safe place. But again, it just looks like it's going right up Sickert Hollow Road. If you know where that is, kind of on the backside of Liberty Park. Sickert Hollow Road runs all the way from around the 280 corridor back over toward Leeds, which is the road you're seeing about right in through here. So just be aware of that. And again, if you are watching this, again, this is Alabama Highway 119 actually right here. But Alabama Highway 119, Sickert Hollow Road, those two roads, the main roads connecting 280 back over to Leeds, just be sheltered until this thing passes. Most likely it's going to be staying south of Interstate 20, which is right up in here, Irondale and Leeds. And Taylor's got the circulation centered, or the circle right now, and again, moving up toward Highway 25, which is right here. So again, just to get your bearing straight, this is Highway 119 right here that runs from Brook Highland over to Leeds. And again, you've got Sickert Hollow Road, which is right here, kind of doing the same thing. So anybody close to Highway 119 between 280 and Leeds, you need to stay sheltered. But again, the good news, let me just stress, 280 corridor, you're clear, you're good. The risk is over. 280 and points west, the danger's over. You can come out of your safe place. You're good. The polygon is now pretty small for areas east of Highway 280 back over to the St. Clair County line. And again, this is Jefferson County here. This is St. Clair, or this is Shelby County. Jefferson here, Shelby County here. Possible tornado. And again, the circulation keeps looking better. And now we're starting to watch for signs of a lowered correlation coefficient. We're kind of watching this spot that's right here. And we'll see if that persists. You want to watch several volume scans to see if that thing stays in place. But again, we'll keep a close eye on that. This is Greystone Crest. This is the top of the mountain right here. And again, this is Alabama Highway 119, which is right here. And it looks like the circulation would be pretty close to Greystone Legacy and the newer section of Greystone, and then coming right down Cahaba Valley Road 119 down toward Leeds. And again, we're watching evidence of debris that's being lofted right here. This is Cahaba Valley Road right here. That's Highway 119. This is Greystone Crest up on top of the mountain. This is Shoal Creek. This debris is north of Shoal Creek, north of Greystone Cove, north of Greystone Farms. This neighborhood right here, that's the Cove at Greystone. These neighborhoods were hit March 25th of last year. This circulation is passing north of there, and again, it looks like it might be pretty close to the newer Greystone course, the newer Greystone neighborhood here, just south of Cahaba Valley Road. This is Rex Lake Road right here. This is Sickert Hollow Road right here. And again, that's going to be moving up in the direction of Leeds. This is Donovan on Highway 25. And you got that curvy mountainous road that goes back up toward Leeds. So again, the concern right now, it's for areas east of US 280. If you're along 280 or points west, you're good. The risk is over. The concern now is for those in the newer Greystone neighborhood, those close to Alabama Highway 119 between Greystone and Leeds. You've got to stay sheltered here, as it looks like we might have a tornado down. We're going to watch for the new volume scan to see if we see that lowered correlation coefficient product staying in the same place. Let's look at velocity again real quick with this, Taylor. That's the CC product. And again, there's no doubt we've got circulation that's located right here. And it matches pretty nicely with that debris signature. This is the Liberty Park neighborhood. That's Interstate 459. There we are right here. The debris is now here. That is basically hugging the county line between Shelby and Jefferson. Again, this is Highway 119 right here, Cahaba Valley Road. The possible tornado is located now just to the northeast of the newer Greystone neighborhood, coming out in the general direction, the southern part of Leeds. You got Elliott Lane right up in here. You got Leeds Elementary School right here. The new high school is over here. This is US 78 coming into downtown Leeds. So a potential tornado is going to make its way into the southern part of the city of Leeds. The lead plant is located right here. At my fingertip, downtown Leeds is right here. The Bass Pro Shop, of course, is over here. Buc-ee's is over here at the Leeds exit on Interstate 20. But at 6:15, and again, evidence we've got what could be a tornado down now. This has been a thunderstorm that showed very weak rotation, and now it is showing evidence there's a tornado down. And this is why the Weather Service has been leaving the warning in effect. And I'm watching the reports from this area, Taylor. Now we're starting to lose our daylight. We don't have the really good daylight. People, and again, this whole thing is rain wrapped, but there's evidence that there could be something. There. So again, we have a tornado warning. This is Jefferson. This is St. Clair counties. This is Alabama Highway 119. This is Cahaba Valley Road. This is Grants Mill Road, by the way, right here. That's Grants Mill. Lake Purdy is right here. Possible tornado right at the intersection of Grants Mill and Highway 119, just in that little neighborhood that's right off 119, and there it is now. This thing is moving at 60 miles an hour. So we have a possible tornado that is now down on the Jefferson-Shelby County line. This is approaching the southern part of the city of Leeds. And again, the call to action, if you are in Leeds, be sheltered right now. Helmet on, small room, lowest floor near the center, no windows, no mobile homes, no cars. Nobody should be driving along Alabama Highway 119. Nobody should be driving anywhere near Leeds. US 78 through downtown Leeds, Alabama Highway 25 coming down here toward Donovan. The lead plant here, they should go through their tornado plan right now. So again, that is strong evidence of a tornado that is confirmed by debris. And again, the Weather Service is calling this a confirmed tornado that is approaching the city of Leeds by that lowered correlation coefficient value right there. So again, just to get your bearings straight, this is Rex Lake Road, okay? You've got the Barber Motorsports Park. That's the road going to Barber, which is right here. You've got the Bass Pro Shop, which is right here. This is Cahaba Valley Road. That's Alabama Highway 119. The tornado is near or just south of Highway 119. Remember, these storms can be tilted. I can't say with being specific that it's that exact spot. It might be along Highway 119, but it's awfully close. It looks like it's just south of Highway 119, and it's going right on the county line. Jefferson, Shelby, downtown Leeds, right here. Again, interstate lead is right here. Possible tornado coming right up on Leeds. Everybody in Leeds has to be sheltered. Atrox, if you've ever been to the haunted house, the creepy thing out there at Halloween, this is going to be passing very close to Atrox in the eastern part of Leeds, and that's going to be coming on out into St. Clair County, and I'm sure the Weather Service will be extending this now that we've got a tornado down. And again, Taylor's doing a storm track. She has to carry it out because it's moving along at such a rapid clip. But if this continues, our friends in Moody and Odenville and Branchville, you've got to watch this thing very carefully. We've got a tornado that is down, a confirmed tornado with a TDS, a tornado debris signature, on the Shelby-Jefferson County line approaching downtown Leeds. From Leeds, it will likely cross over into St. Clair County. Moody is right here. You've got the old Brompton exit, which on the interstate, which is right here. You've got the Love's truck stop there. Again, everybody at that exit and in Moody, if you're in a trailer, you better get out. You better think about doing that right now. So this is a tornado that is down. That's a TDS. We have debris being lofted. And again, this is a very well-defined, confirmed tornado that is moving right toward the southern and eastern part of the city of Leeds. And again, lead plant here, Atrox. They'll be coming right out here toward Moody. And again, everybody's got to stay sheltered. I would imagine the Weather Service in a moment will issue a tornado warning for St. Clair County. And even though they haven't, if you live in Moody or Odenville or Branchville, if you live in a trailer, get out now. Now's the time to do that. You've got to be in a site-built shelter, a gas station, a fast food restaurant, something that offers better protection. So we'll see how this plays out. This thing had very, very broad circulation, but it tightened right back up. And there's our new tornado warning polygon for St. Clair County. We have a tornado warning in effect now for St. Clair County until 7 o'clock this evening. The tornado is over Leeds, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. So this is your tornado warning polygon for St. Clair County. This includes Moody, Odenville, Branchville. This includes Pell City, which is here. This is Highway 231, Interstate 20 right here. And again, we have our Bald Rock Sky Cam, Taylor, which would be of great interest to see what that looks like. I know it's dark, and I know it's rain wrapped. We can't see anything, but we have a camera that's up on the mountain right here looking back into this. Again, this is Highway 174 that runs from Pell City back over to Odenville. That'll be crossing Interstate 20, U.S. Highway 78 out here around Cook Springs, Chula Vista, then crossing over Highway 174, then crossing over Highway 231 between Pell City and Asheville. So anybody in the Polygon here, US 411, Odenville, Branchville, Moody, Interstate 20, Moody back over to Pell City. You need to be sheltered. This also includes the town of Ragland as well. That thing is getting awfully close to Leeds. Let's zoom right back into this thing, Taylor. Again, want to take a really close look at the debris that is being lofted by this tornado that is down. This could be the most significant tornado of the day. Very, very strong signature here. Again, this is downtown Leeds. This is US 78 right here. The lead plant is right here. And again, we've got a tornado right here. And that is a violent-looking tornado that's about to cross Highway 78. Again, Atrox is located right here. That'll be crossing over into Interstate 20, which is up here. The old Brompton exit is down here. This might pass a little to the west of the Brompton exit. Now they've relabeled it Moody, but you know the one I'm talking about. There's a Love's truck stop there, and that'll keep on crossing into St. Clair County. So a very dangerous, potentially violent tornado at Leeds, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. And I will say this is the worst possible time for this because of people that might be on the road. We don't want that. We understand that Interstate 20, there's a backup because of some accidents, and cars are in a position where they can't move. And goodness, that's not a good situation. But again, we'll watch for the next volume scan. This is a very, very strong indication of a dangerous tornado at Leeds, east of Birmingham. And again, in terms of Birmingham, Jefferson County, if your Leeds is the concern, everybody else to the west, all clear. Everybody, all clear, west of Leeds. The concern now is St. Clair County. And again, you've got Moody, which is up here. You've got Branchville, Odenville, Cook Springs, Chula Vista. Goodness gracious. That's nasty looking. That thing just passed near or just downtown Leeds. And that's just not good. Not good at all. That'll be crossing over US 78, which is right here, and crossing over Interstate 20. If you pulled up the Ball Rock camera, Taylor?
I can't see anything. I've got it pulled up.
Okay,
but...
yeah, I was afraid it was all dark. If this were in the day, I don't even know if we could see it because of the fact that it's rain wrapped. But again, this is clearly the most significant tornado signature of the day. And this is very important for you if you're in St. Clair County, if you're hearing us, whether on television, radio, whatever. If you're in Moody, Branchville, Odenville, Pell City, be sheltered right now. Margaret, you're in this Polygon. So again, this is your tornado right here, again crossing Highway 78. Right here, this is the Love's truck stop, the old Brompton exit right here. Again, this is Moody. It's coming right up toward Moody, as you can see. Carl Jones Road, Spring Valley Estates, and again, this is Moody Parkway, better known as US 411. US 411 goes up to Branchville and Odenville, but it's about to cross over Interstate 20, very close to this Moody exit, which used to be called the Brompton exit for years and years and years. So again, everybody here should be sheltered. If you're in a car, please get off the interstate if you can, if you're hearing my voice, and get into a gas station, a convenience store, a fast food restaurant, any place that offers shelter. And that tornado is going to be crossing Interstate 20 in a matter of minutes. You've got no time left. You've really got no time left. And if you're stuck out here in some traffic situation where you can't move, and you hear it or you see it or you know it's coming, the best thing to do is to get out of the car and just lie flat with your head, with your arms around your head, so debris will hit your arms and not your skull region. That's the only thing you can do if you're in some gridlock traffic jam and you can't move, which would be a nightmare situation. So again, the tornado is now east of downtown Leeds. And again, you can see that it's going to be, this is Highway 25, by the way, going south right there. That's Highway 25. Happy Home Baptist Church sits right here, and that's going to be crossing very close to the Moody exit. And again, this is US 78 right here, and Love's truck stop sits right here. Y'all have to be, everybody in that Love's truck stop, shelter now. Everybody needs to be in a small interior bathroom, hall, closet. Be sheltered now. This could be a very dangerous tornado. And from there, it's going to keep on moving northeast. And again, 411 is right here. This is better known as Moody Parkway, but that's US Highway 411. Most likely, initially, it's going to pass just south of Moody Parkway. Interstate 20 is right here. And again, nobody should be on Interstate 20. Nobody between Cook Springs, Chula Vista, and Irondale until this thing passes by. This is a very dangerous situation. And again, as it moves, and basically it's now into St. Clair County. We'll just give an all clear to Shelby and Jefferson. So Shelby, Jefferson, the tornado is out of those two counties. And Leeds is where you got the triple point. All three counties come together. You got St. Clair, Jefferson, Shelby. They meet at Leeds. The tornado is now out of Shelby, out of Jefferson. It's into St. Clair County exclusively, and that's the reason for the tornado warning for St. Clair. But again, that's US 411 right here, Moody Parkway. From Moody, that goes up to Branchville. This thing could stay a little south, maybe a 411, but again, that's a violent tornado most likely that's in the process of crossing over Interstate 20 right here at this Moody exit. And again, there's a lot of industrial, there's an industrial park here. There's a lot of really, really large buildings. And again, if you happen to be in there, try and find you a small place, not those really large areas. This right off Highway 78 right here.
This could be if this is true, it looks like this rotation is starting to broaden out a little bit.
Right, which is great.
Which would be best case scenario. Of, we're getting those reports that there's a wreck right here on I-20, people are backed up. This would be the best case scenario for everybody on that interstate if that is truly what's going on here. We're still showing that correlation coefficient, but you know, we could still have some debris lofted in the air at this point from when it was down very close to Leeds. Now understand Leeds, probably parts of Leeds took a hit from a tornado tonight, so we have crews already on the way over there to go check out that damage, get us some images, let us know what's going on out there. But we'll keep an eye on this velocity, because if this is the case, this would be a really good thing if this is no longer strong rotation as it's moving over I-20 here, where we do have reports of a big backup on the interstate, you know, and that's just obviously the worst case scenario in a situation like this.
Right, and we don't expect these long track tornadoes this evening. And they've had a history of spinning up and spinning down. And it sure looks like, and again, debris is still being lofted from an earlier tornado, but it sure looks like, Taylor, it's in the process of spinning down. And we should mention, too, we've got a flash flood warning for Jefferson now. And again, John DeBlock down at the Weather Service, he agrees the rotation is falling apart, debris is dissipating. And maybe by, you know, the grace of God, it's going to dissipate before it reaches Interstate 20 here. But a very scary situation. And again, as soon as we find out what's happened here, we'll let you know. But the rotation is pretty much just falling apart, just like that. Again, the Weather Service will review this. And again, there's your debris that's still being lofted. But the rotation is going away. The debris is dissipating. It takes a while for that debris to come back down. I mean, it takes a while for it to spin down. But the good news, we don't see any evidence that a tornado is down at this point. Even though we still have that debris signature, with the debris still there from the earlier tornado, but it sure looks like the thing is falling apart and everything is spinning down. And we're starting to see a drop in CC, and we're starting to see the lack of a good velocity couplet, which is a good thing here. And again, Taylor, we got a flash flood warning for Jefferson. Let you handle that, in that we've got a lot of rain here. Okay,
and of course, we're going to keep an eye closely on what's going on in St. Clair County as well. We'll keep watching that very carefully. But right now, we've got a lot of heavy rain. So we've got a flash flood warning that does include locations like Adamsville, Hueytown, Bessemer, Hoover, Vestavia Hills, Birmingham, Warrior, Morris, Trustful, and then over towards Leeds. We've already had a lot of heavy rain from this cell that was moving from the southeast or southwest to the northeast. Now this heavy line of rain is going to be moving from northwest to southeast. So you're going to kind of get in an intersection right over Jefferson County of these two separate systems that brought heavy rain. Those totals are going to add up. Flash flood warning means that flash flooding is either imminent or is already happening. So we don't want you out driving around. Now it's dark, so we don't want you driving around if you don't have to, for sure. And just because it's also going to be raining really heavily, and we're not quite done with the strong storms at this point. But remember, just never drive over a flooded road. That's the big one. We want to remind you that you're not only just putting yourself in danger when you do that, you're putting the others in the car, and then also the first responders that are going to have to come out and help you out if you do get stuck in that water. Want to take us back here to the St. Clair tornado warning. We're going to keep an eye here. Looks like this is still looking fairly well defined in terms of that CC here. So as it's moving over I-20, I'm hoping that this is debris that's just still left over from when this tornado was down very close to Leeds. But there's possibility that, at this point we're still seeing that debris signature. So we're going to treat this as a tornado that is still down at this point. So that means locations that are in the path of this. If you are in St. Clair County, Branchville, Odenville, this is going to move over State Route 174. It's going to pass in between Branchville and Stewart's in the general direction of Wattsville near 231 there. So we're still watching this, still very close to the Brompton exit. I know that's an exit that I've been off of on quite a few trips to stop there. And this is going to keep moving, if it holds together, the general direction of Asheville and Ragland. So we'll be watching this. It does look like it would stay to the south of Springville, staying to the south of I-59 near Springville and Margaret. But right now, potential that we do have a tornado moving across I-20. I mean, that's still holding together pretty good, that correlation coefficient there. I haven't seen, at least in some of these chats, any new messages about any damage or anything like that.
Yeah, so I think my mic's on. It is on. We had to change batteries over here. So again, if you're just joining us, it is 6:32. I'm James Spann with Taylor Sarallo. We are in the process of working a severe weather evening in Alabama. We have the potential for a tornado that is moving through St. Clair County. This is debris that is still being lofted by the tornado. And the velocity signature is weakened tremendously, and the debris seems to be dissipating. Let's look at our velocity display. So that's the debris tracker, and you can see that there's just not anything here. So I think we've had a very significant tornado down, and it's dissipated, and the debris is still falling, but it's in the process of thinning out. And again, there's just no evidence of a tornado here at this point. The tornado is going to stay in place, tornado warning in effect, obviously, and that this has been cyclic. In goodness, we are so fortunate that this thing was very broad when it came through much of the Birmingham metro. It tightened up near Greystone and then went right down Highway 119 toward Leeds. Came through the eastern part of Leeds, and then it's weakened again tremendously over the past 5 minutes. And again, traffic is backed up on Interstate 20 out here, apparently because of a wreck. And the last thing you wanted was a tornado crossing Interstate 20. I don't think that happened. I think the tornado dissipated by the time that happened, which is certainly a good thing, because that was a very scary situation here. So it's been, and again, we will look for reports coming in from Cahaba Valley Road and Leeds to see what's happened there in terms of damage. We will know soon what has happened, and that we've got a lot of reporters down there and folks that are on social media letting us know. So we will let you know as soon as we know. But the tornado warning remains in effect for St. Clair County, even though the signature is weakened tremendously. And this is your Polygon. This does include Pell City. And again, most likely, if there's anything still there, it's going to pass north of Pell City. If anything regenerates, most likely it's going to be north of Pell City. But again, as a course of least regret, you want to stay in a safe place. If you're in Pell City, 231 going up toward Asheville. This is the split right here. 231 going to Pell City, 411 going to Odenville. Asheville is up here. The tornado warning Polygon corner is up there at 231, 411 at the split. Odenville, Branchville. Again, you're all involved in this. Ragland, you're in the tornado warning. The warning well, I'll take that back. Ragland is just out of the warning Polygon here, but still, if you're in any of these communities, you still want to stay sheltered. But the good news, the debris has basically gone away. We now have a flash flood warning for parts of Blount, Fayette, Tuscaloosa, and Walker counties. So we should mention that we have all these blue polygons here. These are flash flood warnings in effect. Blount, Jefferson, Walker, Fayette, Tuscaloosa. Flash flood warnings in effect here for the possibility of flooding. So be aware of that. The one tornado warning we have is this one right here for St. Clair County. And let's put the reflectivity on real quick while we've got the larger view up here. And we'll show where the heavier rain is falling. Just torrents, buckets of rain. Tuscaloosa, north of Birmingham, up into Blount County, western Etowah County. The lightning has decreased. That's a good thing. Lightning output is decreasing, but the rain is just tremendous. But once this passes, that's it. We're done with it. In fact, the rain has ended back in northwest Alabama. The rain will be ending from northwest to southeast tonight. And tomorrow is going to be a different kind of day. It's going to be dry and cooler, and the sun comes back out, and we'll take that. So, and again, the reason we're here, it's this. The flash flood warnings, obviously, you might not want to be driving in the middle of that, but the tornado warning is the reason we're here. So let's go back to our St. Clair County tornado warning, and this is it. And hopefully, once this warning expires or is canceled, we're done with tornado warnings for the night. Can't guarantee that, but let's take a closer look at the tornado warning again here, Taylor, in St. Clair County. And this is the reflectivity, and it's obviously pouring rain here, just torrential rain in Pell City. Let's look at the velocity. And again, there's no tornado signature here. The correlation coefficient, debris tracker, no debris being lofted. So the tornado is dissipated. So what looks to be a very significant tornado came down Highway 119 from Greystone down toward Leeds, dissipated just northeast of Leeds, and now we have no evidence of a tornado in progress here. The warning for St. Clair County is scheduled to extend until 7 o'clock for the next 24 minutes. And again, the Weather Service made a good call here. Remember, they issued that tornado warning for the Birmingham Metro without a really strong signature, but that thing ramped up really quick when it got east of Highway 280. And the same thing might happen here, although the good news, the air is more stable here on this side of the state. As you go farther to the east, the instability values are quite low, and I'd say the odds of this regenerating are low. Not zero, but fairly low. But still, as a course of least regret, if you're in St. Clair County in this polygon, Wattsville, Coal City, Pell City, Cook Springs, Chula Vista, just stay sheltered. Again, Raglan, you are not in this polygon. I misspoke earlier. I thought that you were. You are not. Raglan is outside the polygon. This is for Pell City, points up Highway 231. And again, they've really reduced the polygon greatly. It used to go up here to the split. Now it's just north of Pell City. So basically, Pell City and points north over toward the river. Riverside is involved in this. This is the Coosa River. Logan Martin Lake is right here. So just stay sheltered until we give you an all clear. And Taylor, let me send it over to you. And we are going, let me just say, first off, we've got reports of a tree down on a mobile home in Leeds with people trapped. So back over to you for a few minutes, and I'll get some images coming in here.
And so obviously at this point, there's going to be some damage near Leeds. We had a tornado debris signature very close to the city of Leeds, and we've got a crew on the way. I know that they are going to be arriving there shortly, and they're going to be providing us with more information on what exactly happened there. But just based on the sole fact that we could see that debris signature, we know that there were items lofted in the atmosphere, whether that be tree limbs, whether that be parts of people's homes, parts of people's lives. We're not going to know until we get more information in from some of those emergency managers, or our crews are on the way, and we're going to be passing all of that info along to you as soon as we get that here. But right now, the good news is that the trend is improving for this one storm that we've been tracking that did drop that tornado very close to Leeds. It's crossed over I-20. It is not looking super organized here in this velocity. We're not looking at a really strong velocity signature with this. We're going to keep an eye on it because they have been cyclic, but at this point, things are looking at least a little bit more well-behaved at this point. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now we're kind of shifting towards a flooding problem for much of central Alabama. We've got quite a few of our counties here on these flash flood warnings. And then it's worth noting that those little green boxes you're seeing are flood advisories. Flash flood warning means that flash flooding is possible or is already happening. And that's when we see that big rush of water that covers the road. We don't want you driving over roads if you don't have to, especially too because it's just dark out there already. But we've got the flash flood warning that includes parts of Fayette, Walker, Tuscaloosa, into Jefferson, also parts of Blount County. And that's because we've got a really heavy band of rain moving through now. And once that band moves through your location, your severe threat is done. Let's talk about that tornado watch, because I know we've had that. I do expect it to be trimmed away for more locations here once that band moves through. But Pickens, Lamar, Fayette, Marion, Winston, Walker, Coleman, done with your severe threat for the night. You are good to go. If you want to go to bed or if you want to go eat dinner, whatever you want to do, you're okay to do that. Watch for flooding and please don't drive over a flooded road. But at this point, your threat from severe thunderstorms or tornadoes is done for the evening, and you're going to turn colder here overnight and into tomorrow. It's going to feel like winter again tomorrow. We've been with those spring temperatures the last couple of days, and tomorrow is going to be kind of a shock to the system. We're going to be probably dropping by about 20 degrees for highs in most locations, or maybe even a little bit more than that, 20 to 25 degrees. Let's take a closer look at that one storm that we've been watching. It's close to Pell City. And even just based on the reflectivity here, it's not looking super suspect to me. And also, once again, looking at that velocity, not looking... Oh, I think I just got some good news here. BMX cancels tornado warning.
They're done.
St. Clair.
All right. So It's been a rough ride here. So again, if you're just joining us, the Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for St. Clair. There's no tornado there, and now we do not have any tornado warnings. This is the first time in goodness, how long? Hours. We have not had a tornado warning. So the encouraging news is that we are in a position now where we do not have active tornado warnings, and we're going to hold it here for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to go to Wheel of Fortune. I know you want to watch that, but. Okay, I'm just hearing we're going to hold it here until 7. So hate mail goes to newsdirector at newsdirector.com. How about that? No, we love our news director. I would never send him that kind of email. Send it to me. Again, that's fine. So flash flood warnings in effect for Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Blount counties. Parts of Walker and Fayette counties. These are all flash flood warnings. The tornado warning for St. Clair County is off the board. We still have a tornado watch, Taylor. Let's pop that on here for those that have not seen the watch lately. We've still got a tornado watch for Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Aniana, points south and east. The watch has been canceled. The risk of severe weather is over for Cullman, Jasper, Cullman County, Walker, Fayette, Pickens, Lamar, Winston, and Marion counties. Your risk of severe weather is over, and soon we'll be able to clear Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Blount, as the storms have really shifted to the east and south of those cities. And it's somewhat of a marginal threat down and through here. Could there be another tornado warning? Yes. That's why there's a tornado watch. But the instability values are much lower here, and the conditions are not as favorable here as what we had earlier. So that's the situation. So, again, what I'm going to do, Taylor, is let you talk for a minute. I'm going to cue up some of the images I have from the damage, and I'll go through those in just a second. So I'll let you kind of do an overview for everybody.
Okay, and also I was just talking to Ashley Gooden. She is our reporter that's going to be heading on her way to Leeds here pretty soon to check on things. Let's get a look at the big picture so we can talk about what's going on across Alabama. We are the only part of Alabama right now that has any type of, or actually now we're done with our warning because that's been canceled. It's going to show on there for a second. We've got flash flood warnings, but other than that, we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings, any tornado warnings anywhere else in Alabama at this point. And that main line is moving through now. So what you're getting right now across central Alabama, that one band of heavy rain, that's the severe threat. Once that moves through for you, you are done with that. So fortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be one of those nights where we're here really late into the night tracking those systems. So you're going to be able to go to bed, which is good. I know everybody, sometimes it makes you nervous when you have to wait up for these tornado watches to come to an end. And it doesn't look like this is going to be one of those nights where it's going to keep you up very late. What you do have to worry about, though, is the flash flooding. And I know sometimes you hear flooding and you don't think that it's a big deal, but flooding is a big deal. And especially if you're driving through that flooding, you don't know what that road looks like underneath that water. So it's really, really important. We ask you just not to drive over those flooded roads. I know it's inconvenient, but the best course of action is going to be to find a different route, even if it takes you a little bit longer, because it is worth it to save your life or the life of others. It's just not worth it risking that just to drive over some water. Let's look at the radar. We'll talk about where it's raining heavily because it's raining really heavy in some spots. Utah, right along I-20, blinding rain likely right now from Bemidji to Utah to Akron to Moundville to Coaling, just south of downtown Tuscaloosa. This is that really, really heavy band of rain right now. That's also approaching Lakeview, Adamsville. It is just north of downtown Birmingham, moving into downtown Birmingham now. Graysville, Fultondale, Warrior, Trustful, Springville, Aniana, Margaret, Asheville, Steele. I'm calling out all these cities where it's raining hard, and you're probably thinking, yeah, we know, we can hear it outside. I bet there's probably some gusty winds as well. I bet there's a lot of thunder, but there is no severe thunderstorm warnings or no tornado warnings. These storms are below severe limits at this point, which is the best news. We've been on for quite a few hours now.
Let's show some images on WEXO 5, Taylor. We'll kind of talk about what's happened today. You can see that gas station has suffered a lot of damage. I don't exactly know the location of that, but that's an example of the kind of damage we've seen today. And again, this is what it looked like out on US 78 or Alabama 5, one or the other, near Interstate 22. A lot of damage there. Again, this is probably some of the most significant damage I've seen today. That's a tree through a house in Utah, down in Greene County. And I really think that was not related to thunderstorms. That was related to gradient winds, non-thunderstorm winds today. I've not heard of anybody injured there. But again, we've had so many images like this from around the state of large tree limbs that are down. And I'm afraid we've gotten more damage than what we're showing you from areas near Leeds. And again, we got Bill Castle and Stephen Quinn headed there. And as soon as we hear from them, we'll let you know. But, you know, it's been a rough day, but I think it could have been worse. We've heard of no major injuries. There were some injuries out there in Interstate 22. We'll show you in a minute. This is coming from Boley Springs up in Fayette County. They had some tornado damage today in the far eastern part of Fayette County. We saw a tornado debris signature at that point. We knew that debris was being lofted. And again, this is a look at just a very messy evening for travelers. It's been so rough, and we know that there's been a backup along Interstate 20 during that tornado warning, and thankfully the tornado apparently lifted before crossing Interstate 20 to the best of our knowledge. And again, a lot of trees and limbs are down, and if you're traveling tonight, be aware of that. It's pouring rain in a lot of places, and we've got these large tree limbs down, and some trees are down across roads. And at night, with it raining like it is very hard to see that. So if you're traveling tonight, be very careful. Here's a look at some of the stronger winds coming through West Alabama earlier today. And even away from the storms, we've had gradient winds today, gusting to 30, 35, 40 miles per hour. This is what that storm looked like southwest of Tuscaloosa. We've had tornado warnings for very densely populated parts of the state today. At one point, Tuscaloosa County was under a tornado warning. We've heard of no major damage in Tuscaloosa County from that storm. Of course, the Birmingham Metro was under a tornado warning earlier today. And the most significant damage, we think, with the Jefferson County storm came near Leeds, from near Greystone back up Highway 119 to Leeds. And again, as we get additional reports on what's happened there, we'll let you know. And a lot of hail today. This is hail the size of a quarter. We've had that in various parts of the state. And trampolines and Alabama weather, just not a good mix. The Alabama state bird, as we often say on days like today. Here's some damage to a carport. We've seen a lot of images like this across the state. And Taylor, this has got to be the picture of the day right here. The dog here was not happy about my comment about dogs and closets. And
you got a lot of angry dogs right now.
A lot of angry dogs.
Central Alabama coming after you.
All right, so let's go back to the radar here. Again, we're going to keep this until 7 o'clock, and if we hear of anything from our crews in the field, we will pass that on to you. And the reason I think we're staying here, hopefully we're going to get some reports back from them, but we do not have any tornado warnings down at this point. We have flash flood warnings in effect. The tornado warning for St. Clair County was canceled. Flash flood warnings. The Birmingham Metro is just nasty. I mean, it is pouring, just pouring rain. Total quagmire here at this point, especially from downtown Birmingham north and west and northeast. Heaviest rain along and north of Interstate 5920, and that heavy rain band is going to sag on down to the south, ultimately affecting the southern part of the Birmingham Metro as well. Heaviest rain in Tuscaloosa County is now south and east of the city of Tuscaloosa, and torrential rain falling near Gadsden, coming into Gadsden, parts of St. Clair County. But the good news, we have no severe thunderstorm warnings. We have no tornado warnings in effect. And that's typically what would keep us on the air. And we've been here for a long time today with tornado warnings. But again, at this point, we do not have any tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings. There could be a few more tonight. I'd say it's not especially likely, but there could be. And again, we've had a report from a tornado report in the Leeds area, just south of downtown Leeds, a tree on a mobile home with entrapment. That report came in about 15 minutes ago. On Cedar Avenue in Leeds, and I'm afraid we might have more reports like that this evening. So again, as we get the information, but the good news I can tell you is the fact that we have not had any we've not had any confirmed severe injuries here. I want to go back to WEX 05 real quick. I wanted to show this. This is one of the significant events of the day. And I disconnected it. That is totally my fault. This is going to be from the city of Adamsville. And earlier you saw Stephen Quinn and Bill Castle that were out there. This is from the city of Adamsville. And again, they posted this about an hour ago. But it says we have at least one overturned truck on Interstate 22 near the West Jefferson exit. We have another truck overturned in one of the industrial areas in the city of Adamsville, and injuries have been reported. Please avoid the roadways unless you must travel. We do have trees and power lines down in multiple areas. And they ask people to report debris in the roadway by calling Adamsville Dispatch at 205-674-8760. But earlier we had Stephen Quinn and Bill Castle on the scene of these overturned trucks along Interstate 22. And obviously travel is still probably challenging in that area. And so let's go back to the radar. The good news, it looks like we're now down to a slight risk. They've taken out the enhanced risk. We've had this level 3 out of 5, and that gets everybody's attention. We try and encourage people, yes, that's a guideline, and it's important to look at those products, but don't get too hung up in the colors and the risk levels, and just know that there's a chance of severe weather. But they have taken out the enhanced risk, and now we have a slight risk for areas along and south of this line right here. Look at this, just 3 lightning strikes. Hardly any lightning output from this at all, which is a good sign. And again, as the storms encounter the more stable air south and east of Birmingham, the odds of additional tornadoes are low. Not zero. Let's make that perfectly clear. Not zero, but fairly low. Could there be another tornado warning tonight? Yes, but I'd say it's not likely. The greatest concern, it's the flash flooding here. And again, once this line passes, that's it. We're done with the chance of any severe weather. So I feel bad. Muriel and Brenda have been sitting here for 10 hours waiting to go on television, or maybe 10 days. I don't know. So I've just been told in my ear that we probably should go to Brenda and Muriel, and they're over there looking at me with the deer in the headlights look like, what? What?
Like, we were born
what?
ready.
Yeah, they were born ready.
All right.
So let's go over to Brenda and Muriel, and we'll give them 8 minutes to try and compress everything that's happened today.